Something like this. Hit it.
The Roger Report live morning show, weekdays at 9 a.m.
Say y'all, I was on Roger's panel a few times and I couldn't take it. The heat. I got out the kitchen. It was hot. I was sweating. I had to get out.
He's Roger, and he's right.
Check this out.
We can live or die. You choose. I have spoken to you a lot of times in hatred and anger, and you have not heard me. Well, you had better hear me today. If you won't listen to me when I make an appeal for the Negroes because you have no concern for the Negroes, listen to me when I make an appeal for America. You claim you love America. Well, we love America. But you are driving us back and you are making a Samson out of us, and we are going to pull down the pillars. And then you think we have no right to ask for something? Is it too much to ask you to grant us human dignity? Should we be put down and shot to death for this request? If so, you can aim your guns. What the hell do you think we care about dying if you're going to deny us the right to live?
Good morning, folks, and welcome to another edition of the Roger Report Live, the best show on social media. If you are new to the channel, go ahead and take a moment out to hit that like button, because this is where you're going to find the best content on social media, and you're not going to have to worry about it because you're going to have me right here to make sure that happens. And if you've already been coming to the channel for a while, then go ahead and hit that like button, because you already know what time it is, and you know that this is where you're going to get the best content on social media. You've seen other people do it. You've even seen some people do it well. But what you have not seen is anyone do it quite the way I do it. So make sure you hit that like button, and everyone, yes, everyone, take a moment out to share the content, y'all. There are so many people who need to get great content like this, and it's just a small thing you can do to help the world be a better place. And is that what we want at the end of the day? Don't we want the world to be a better place? Of course we do. So share the content now. Share it through your social media, share it through word of mouth, or even text someone's phone. But do what you got to do to help spread the word. All right, folks, today we are here to do what I believe is going to be an extremely interesting episode, something that anyone who covered this particular story in social media should see. You know, they may not be so lucky, but anyone who covered this in social media should see. And anyone who watched the story on this probably should see. Okay, that's what's my view about it. Today we're going to talk about Justin and Cerina Fairfax. 4 victims or 0 victims. Yes, y'all, this is a case. I'm sure a lot of folks are familiar with it already. We're going to give the choice of 4 victims or 0 victims. Now, I know that could be confusing right now, but it'll make sense in a minute. Well, it'll make more sense in a minute. But before we go too deep into that, first of all, let me say shout out to all the people who give me views on a regular basis, because I definitely appreciate y'all. And y'all make up the fam, of course. So thank you very much for what you do. Real talk. Shout out to all the people who hit that like button. Y'all know that like button is a big deal, and it's a great way to show some love. Shout out to the people who hype me up every chance they get. I know you might not be able to do it every single time, but if you save those hypes for me, man, I appreciate that big time. Real talk, real talk. And shout out to all the people who leave comments after the stream. You know, you never know what a comment is going to spark. So appreciate y'all big time. Appreciate y'all big time. And of course, I appreciate the people who go above and beyond the call of duty to become financial contributors of the channel, because they allow me to do stuff that I wouldn't really even do without their support. And it allows me to live a little bit better than what I would without their support. So I appreciate them super big time. And that's just real talk. And I also want to give a shout out to y'all know how I go. When you start a show, it's always great to see a couple people already checking in with you. But over here, there can only be one. So shout out to the Highlander of today's stream. My main man, Afro Merchant did it, y'all. Afro Merchant did it. I know some of y'all be trying to come super early. I've warned y'all before. If you try to come too super early, it ain't going to register. It ain't going to register right. Okay? Now, of course, if you come super late, that ain't going to work for you neither. Because somebody going to beat you to it. You got to learn to thread the needle. You got to thread the needle. And guess who did it this time? My main man, Afro Merchant. And I appreciate you big time, brother. I appreciate you big time. And that's real talk. He been rocking solid with me for a long time. Shout out to my main man, Trail Bentley, representing like he always does. And I definitely appreciate the representing. He says, hashtag long live the habitual line steppers. Hashtag Negroes in the wilderness. Hashtag dignity over vagina. Hashtag Al Gore's babies. Hashtag Hail Hydra. Shout out to you, brother. Shout out to you. Appreciate you big time. Appreciate you big time. We got Tunnel Runner in the building. What's good, my brother? What's good? We got the Bright Star in the house. Great to see you. Great to see you. Brooklyn's finest is in the house. Superstar Jay Quick is at the cool table. Glad to see you. Glad to see you. We got what's his user? I guess user Op1. I guess that's really what the main name is. User Op1. Hey, appreciate you. Jerome Payne is checking in. Great to see you. Great to see you. I'm listening. What's up, my brother? What's up? Glad to have you here. Glad to have you here. And glad to have everybody else here who's listening from the clouds, y'all. To me, y'all, this is a very interesting situation because you had Justin Fairfax, who was moving up, you know, according to what was reported, basically 48 hours away before becoming a governor. It's like 48 hours away. That's what was reported. About 48 hours away from becoming the governor of Virginia. Okay. And as I'm sure a lot of y'all are aware, and if y'all seen my show the other day, because I touched into this subject heavy the other day, the man was a lieutenant governor. Okay. About to be a governor of the state. And all of a sudden, a couple of accusations from years and years ago came out. All right. A couple of women that he had been with made some accusations. Now, these accusations were never criminally charged. And because I personally do not believe in coincidence like that, I'm pretty sure they came out exactly when somebody wanted them to come out. Now, I'm going to say it is my personal belief. Okay, I don't have no proof of it, but you know, the truth has to make sense in the beginning, middle, and the end. So I don't have no proof of it, but I do believe two women were paid to sell out Justin Fairfax. Two women that he had been with in the past. And this could happen to any particular person, because if you've ever been with somebody and you didn't end up married to that person, not that being married could save you from it. Let's keep that real too. Not that being married could save you from it. But two women from your past could eventually come out and say something against you. And if you're in a certain position of power, there are reasons for people to not want you to stay in power or to get you out of power. So you have someone named Meredith Watson, you know, and you have someone named Vanessa Tyson make two accusations. These two accusations, you know, now I get the setup. I do get the setup. The accusation came from two women who don't know each other. That's how you try to make it more solid. Two women that don't know each other. Okay? kind of make it more solid. All right. And, people believe that puts weight behind it. But, I understand how the Me Too movement has moved about. So when I see stuff like this, no, I don't see any weight behind it. Now, people say, believe all women. One thing that I learned as a young man, women lie. They seem to lie a lot. And I understand there'll be people who say, man, you can't just say that about women. That's just wrong to say. No. It's not wrong to say. There's a lot of men who simply was with a woman and that man went out to go get some food. Maybe it was lunch. Maybe it was dinner. Maybe it was something in between. A man who lived with a woman, could have been his wife, could have been a fiance, could have been a girlfriend. He turned to his woman and he said, baby, I'm about to go get something to eat. Would you like something? And you know what she did? She looked that man dead in his face. Sometimes looked him right in the eye. Sometimes very lovingly. Sometimes even had her arms around the man. Or the man had his arms around her. They was in a quote unquote loving position. And when he asked, did you want something to eat? She looked at him in his eyes and said, no, baby, I'm good. She said, no, I don't need anything. Or something even more notorious. She said, I ain't hungry. I appreciate it, but I'm not hungry. Now, she lied to that man's face. That man loves her. That man protects her. That man is trying to build a life around or with, depending on how you will see it. This man is trying to impress her. This man is trying to show her she's more important than anybody else on the planet to him. And she looked in his face and said, no, I ain't hungry. And she was hungry the whole time. She was hungry the whole time. The whole time. Because how he hungry and she not hungry? Come on now. And he went out to go get something to eat. And he came back home. Okay? And all of a sudden, she needed his food. Now, some men have learned, even though she says she ain't hungry, just buy her something anyway. It saves you a lot of trouble. Now, y'all, I understand. You may hear what I'm saying and say, that's just a food order. It's not that big a deal. No. The point is, women been lying to me. Okay? Women been lying to me. And I have said time and time again, two things black men can count on. You can count on black women to lie to you, and you can count on black women to lie on you. And the Justin Fairfax case has it all. Okay? It has it all. Now, this is the thing. We noticed this ended badly. It ended extremely badly. It ended with a man who killed his wife and he killed himself. My personal opinion, any decision that you make as a black man that would lead you to kill yourself is a bad decision. Okay? I know stuff could get hairy. I know stuff could be really ridiculous sometime, and I know there's extremes to anything. I mean, killing yourself is an extreme thing in the first place. And some people may say, well, it could be certain conditions where, you could want to kill yourself. You could have been in a helicopter accident and now you're stuck on a mountain and in the cold. To end it all that much quicker, you just, take yourself out so you ain't got to sit through and freeze to death and things like that. Hey, I understand all that. I do understand that. And I do respect a man's right to do what he want to do in a certain situations. You know, they say men are supposed to be leaders, so they got to be able to lead themselves. So if that's what you want to do, I get it. Now I'm gonna say wholeheartedly though, any decision that I make that would lead me to kill myself, to me, that's the first indicator that this is a bad decision. All right. And I think this should be something that a lot of black men should really start to take to heart. Any decision we make that would lead us to kill ourselves is probably a decision I shouldn't make. Now, if only Justin would have thought like that. If only he would have thought like that. Now, a lot of people have been saying a lot of stuff about Mr. Fairfax. A lot of women, especially, I'm not saying men didn't say anything, but I'm going to say a lot of women, especially, been saying stuff about or pushing for Cerina Fairfax. Because Cerina was the wife of Justin. Okay. Now, I put some links in the description, of course. And, if you listen to the Roger Report Live, sometimes you want to check to see if there's links in the description to give you some of what we're talking about, or you'll see some things that we're referring to. Now, I looked some stuff up about people and, how people's taking their viewpoints about Cerina Fairfax. I put up this first one I saw. I understand you can clearly hear some bias in it, but I put up the first one I saw and said, this is just going to be what it's going to be. Okay. I even put in the women who made these false allegations against Justin Fairfax. I even brought the video up about Justin Fairfax addressing these things years ago. Now, if you look at the video at today, in April of 2026, it says 7 years ago. So this ain't nothing that just came. This is a long time ago. Okay. Justin was all about proving he didn't do nothing to these ladies. Justin could smell what was going on. All right. Now, Justin Fairfax was lynched in the media. It's that simple at the end of the day. When you try to tell your story and people won't even take your calls, people won't set no meetings with you, people won't do no interviews, and you are lieutenant governor, it's called being blackballed. So people can say what they want to say. People can say, well, no, we wouldn't do that to nobody. Now, everybody should get a chance to tell a story. They can say all that good stuff. At the end of the day, the man got blackballed. It's that simple. We can't unchange facts. The man got blackballed. And y'all, a discussion has come up about mental health. Now, I'm not going to act like people ain't been pushing certain things about mental health in the first place. Some of the stuff I agree with, some of the stuff I don't. Okay? There are people who will say that, especially black men, they need to do something with mental health. See, I'm going to say this, y'all. There are some people, even a personal friend of mine, okay, who's pushing for good things to go on in mental health, even when it comes to black men. And then there's people who are pushing nonsense when it comes to mental health. And that's why I'm asking a question. In the Fairfax situation, were there 4 victims or were there 0 victims? Now, I'm going to, I'll say be the villain, I guess, of today's show. I'm going to have to be the villain to get certain things done for show purposes. I guess I'll probably be perceived as a villain. We're going to do it today. Hey, it's my show. I can be a villain for a day if I want to be. To push a point, I could be the villain for the day. I ain't going to die behind it. Okay. I'm not going to die behind it. All right. But for the sake of the show and for moving the show along, a lot of people are looking at the outcome of the Fairfax situation. And of course, the outcome is a big deal because you got dead people in your outcome. Now, I saw some folks reporting that they got a lot of positive things that came in about Justin Fairfax after this situation had came to this ugly conclusion. There were people saying good things about him. And they were offended that people had good things to say about Justin. All right. Now, I've said personally before that, everybody got something good to him. They even said Hitler was an extremely charming man. That's what they said about Hitler. He was an extremely charming man. And I believe it. Because they said when Hitler won, he won with a 98% approval. I assume you got to be a very charming man to get 98% of people to rock with you. Now, Hitler ended up putting people in ovens or getting it done. He created a situation where people literally got put in ovens. But that don't mean it wasn't anything good about him. Okay, that don't mean it wasn't anything good about him. Now, Justin Fairfax was a person and people liked who he was. He just had a situation that went real south real quick. A couple of accusations by some women who never proved anything. They were basically lying. Now, because it was not criminally investigated, you can't tell me they weren't lying. Justin even submitted himself to polygraphs to prove that they were lying. And guess what, y'all? They never pursued a criminal case. You mean to tell me the lieutenant governor of a location, I mean, you could pick any location in the state, pick any of the 50. You telling me the lieutenant governor is not somebody worthy to go after and you're mad about it? That's one thing to say, I ain't mad about the situation, I let it go. It's one thing to say, I don't care about the situation. It harmed me personally, but I've gotten past it, so I don't want to go there again. It's one thing to say, hey, I even had some therapy or something, to help me deal with it, and I've closed that chapter in my life, and I don't want to revisit it. See, when you start saying stuff like that, people can give you some type of understanding, whatever the case is. They can see where you're coming from to a certain aspect. It makes some sense to people, but that wasn't going on in Justin's case. Justin Fairfax was the lieutenant governor. You had some women that came out swinging, talking about he sexually assaulted me. Now, if you ain't mad about it, why you saying something about it? And if you aren't mad about it, I don't see why you're bringing it up. But if you are mad about it, and now the law allows you to go after him criminally, why wouldn't you go after him criminally? Now, I'm going to say this, y'all. All the different things I looked at, I'm going to say I did not hear about the money. Okay, I didn't hear about the money. Now, normally when stuff like this comes up, people want some money. Bill Cosby just went through that. They just awarded some random woman a bunch of Bill Cosby money because she claimed he sexually assaulted her. Which, my opinion, he obviously didn't do it. He was never convicted for it. So based on the facts we know, he didn't actually do it. But they awarded her some money anyway. She ended up getting over $40 million, I believe it was. Or right at $40 million. See, money is usually in the fix somewhere. Now, I want everyone to think, just put your thinking cap on. Why did two women go after Justin Fairfax, but did not want to pursue criminal charges? And I mean, unless y'all know something I don't, they also did not pursue any civil cases. Now we know the play for a lot of women is you go after the civil case so you can get some money. Okay. Now, there have been people who've been critics of women doing stuff like that. And they say, if it was a real case, how come you didn't go after no criminal charges? Well, these women didn't do either. I'm going to say, at least I'm not aware of them doing either. I know nothing about the civil case that they launched against Justin Fairfax. So they didn't go after the money, nor did they go after him criminally so he can get some time. That's a real interesting combination. So you got two black women who don't know each other making claims that he did something to sexually assault them, and they both happen to make these claims right at the same time, basically. Boy, that's a lot of coincidence. That's a whole lot of coincidence. Now, at that same time, the reigning mayor is now having a blackface scandal, while Justin is the lieutenant governor who looks primed to take his place. That's a whole lot of coincidence. And for a person who don't believe in coincidence, that's an extreme amount of coincidence. So now you got these two ladies on top of it. They don't want no money, nor do they want him to suffer any jail time, but they're mad. Because why would they bring this up if they ain't mad about it? Now, I totally get people's reactions because, Justin did something where he ended up killing himself. Now, what made him kill himself? I personally would say the straw that broke the camel's back, that he took himself on up out of here. I believe the straw that broke his back, because, I can't ask Justin himself, but I believe the straw that, broke the camel's back was the actual killing of his wife. He had been dealing with a lot of stuff up until that point. He had been trying to get his name cleared up until that point, never got his name cleared in the eyes of public opinion. The divorce proceedings were going on. According to the stuff that I saw, in order for him and his wife to get divorced, they had to separate in separate households for at least a year. Now, they had already called themselves separating, where they lived in different rooms. Now, according to some stuff that I saw, it literally said because Justin Fairfax was going through his troubles, and I'm going to say shout out to Dr. Tia Johnson, because I put a link in the other day when we initially covered this story. The man went from earning $400,000 one year to $11,000 the next year to zero after that. That's rough. I'm pretty sure just about anybody would take that as somewhat rough. And you got to be pretty well set up for life to deal with that type of debt and be okay. Okay? That's gonna sting a little bit. It's gonna sting a little bit. Even if you ain't about money like that you gonna look at that one. Okay. 400,000 to 11,000 to zero. I'm gonna at least take a look at it. Okay. I'm at least take a look at it. All right. Now, some of us we deal with stuff better than other people. That happens. Okay. Now I'm gonna say shout out to Reynolds. Reynolds says there are 3 victimizers, with Gayle King playing Maestro. The treasonous black women strikes again. Okay. Well, there's 3 that we know of. Okay. Because I personally believe, because I don't buy into coincidence stuff. And the women didn't go after money. So my perception is they got paid. Y'all mean to tell me 2 black women are still mad about something that a lieutenant governor did and they never went after money? That sounds crazy to me. You don't want jail time, but you don't want money either? Yeah, I ain't buying that one. Okay? I'm not buying that one. Now, this is the thing, y'all. People see Cerina Fairfax as a victim. I can totally understand how you can see her as a victim. I believe your worldview will have a lot to do with how you see her. And I do believe this is actually a great opportunity for people to really think about how much they have been exposed and have accepted white supremacy. Because we got a clear answer about the fact that Justin Fairfax killed his wife, Cerina Fairfax. Now, a lot of people see Cerina Fairfax as a victim. Matter of fact, I'm not going to even say I saw anybody who didn't see her as a victim. I'm not going to even say, I don't believe I saw anybody say anything where there was nothing said or implied about she being a victim. Now, when it came to Justin Fairfax, totally different story. A lot of people did not see him as a victim at all. You know, I even saw he was compared to Dylan Roof. Okay, I saw some interesting things about Justin Fairfax. Yeah, he was even compared to Dylan Roof. Some of y'all might be saying, "Who Dylan Roof? That sounds familiar." That was the white guy who went into that church and killed the black folks. I think it was 9 victims at the time. Yeah, that Dylan Roof. Y'all, and I just sit back and wonder, can we deal with how we see the world? Can we accept how we see the world? Are my lenses clear? Or am I looking at this from a white supremacist standpoint? Okay? Because Justin, believe it or not, y'all, was an actual man. That means he was an actual human being. Okay? He was an actual human being. But because he's black, I understand, whether we want to admit it to ourselves or not, a lot of folks just see him as a nigga. And a nigga is something that don't count until you say it count. All right? Yeah, I understand some people might say, but no, I saw more than that because, you know, he did X, Y, and Z throughout his life and he had all these different accounts. Now, the man was seen as a nigga. Let's be real, y'all. Let's be real about how much he was seen as a nigga. Now, I ain't even tripping that white folks seen him as a nigga. Expected behavior from them. I'm not saying every white person seen him as a nigga, but sure, I saw some white folks who looked at this and they seen him as a nigga. Totally expected. Why? What else would they see him as? I get that. Not saying it's right. I'm just saying I understand it. Now, you got a lot of black folks who see him as a nigga too. But I get it because I was raised in America. I understand America is designed to create white supremacists. White supremacy is supposed to be the product when you live in America. So that's why the question to me comes up: is it 4 victims or is it 0 victims? Now, a lot of people may be thinking, what is he talking about, 4 victims? Well, they had 2 kids, y'all. They had 2 kids. The children got a dead mama and a dead daddy. That's what they got. Okay? They got a dead mama and they got a dead daddy. They are not adults yet. I believe the age is 16 and 14. That's what I believe it is, but I'm not even 100% sure on that. Okay? So you got some teenage kids. You know, I'm definitely sure they were teenage kids. I think it was 16 and 14, but you got some teenage kids. They got a dead mom and a dead daddy. Now, if you got a dead mom and a dead daddy and you're not even an adult, that sounds like a victim to me. Okay? Now, I know a lot of people may not think of them as victims, or you may only think it halfway as victim because it seems like, not that I did heavy research into the kids, but it seems like what came up was that one kid is a male and the other kid is a female. The oldest was the male, the younger was the female. Now, if that's correct, because like I said, I didn't do a lot of research in the kids. Kids were mentioned in some of the stuff that I was looking at. Okay. So if that's correct, you have a girl who's going to grow up. She's going to become a woman. And you know what she's going to do? Well, I ain't going to say she's going to do it personally. I'm going to say, you know how people are going to view her? They're going to view her as a victim because her dad was not there to raise her. This happens to people on a regular basis. Amongst Black folks in America, there are a lot of girls who are raised without a father, and they are seen as victims. That's normal. Okay, a lot of Black women choose to be single mothers. They don't want to have an actual family. They rather just have kids. So they don't like men around like that. They just want to have kids. They don't want a family. They just want kids. Okay, well, they want children. All right, they want some sons, or they really want some daughters, but they do not want a man raising the children. That's amongst Black women, that's a regular thing. All right. So his daughter's gonna grow up, and people gonna say time and time again, because she's human. A lot of people over her lifetime are gonna say she's a victim because she is a girl who grew up without her father. Now, there's a young man who's also going to continue to grow up. He's going to come into the real world, and wherever he's wrong, they're going to pretty much nail him to the cross because he's a nigga to them. He's going to eventually be a young Black man who has to live a life of his own, who's going to have to make real decisions. And if he make any mistakes, more than likely he will not get grace. He will not get comfort. He will not get human treatment. Now, let's be realistic about stuff, y'all. Where are Black men treated like humans? The one place you may, you got a, I'm going to say you have a higher probability of being treated as a human, your mom and your dad. You have a higher, not saying you're going to get it. I'm saying realistically speaking, you have a higher probability of being treated like a human with your mom and dad. That's what's going to come to people's mind first. Now, a lot of mothers are not going to give you human treatment because we're talking about Black folks, y'all. So if you got a Black mother, you probably won't get human treatment. Now, if you got a white mother, you probably will get human treatment. Let's be realistic about that. If a Black man has a white mother, he will probably get human treatment. But if he has a Black mother, there's a good chance he will not get human treatment. Now, if he has a Black father, he will probably get human treatment. Okay? So where do Black men get human treatment? Usually, I'm going to say amongst some peers. Your peers will treat you like a human. You develop some friendships with some people, you probably get some human treatment amongst them. You going to have a little clique, your friends. Sometimes people say it's the boys, the guys, whatever. Yeah, you probably get treated like human with them. Then you have a higher probability of it. But society as a whole, no, you're not going to get human treatment. I'm not going to say it's impossible for you to get human treatment. But realistically speaking, if you are a Black man and you live in America and you do anything wrong, even if it's a mistake, you probably will not get human treatment. Just is what it is. They're going to do things according to numbers, data, what somebody's goal is. You being treated as a human is probably not going to happen. All right. Now, some people may say that's harsh, but no, that's a very real thing. And that's why, I can move about the world the way I do, because I don't even expect people to treat me like human. I ain't saying that's what I want. I understand how the world operates. And when you live in America and you are a Black man, the chances that people are going to treat you like human is next to none. Now, we don't necessarily say it like this, but it is a reality. Okay, it's very much a reality. It happens on all kinds of small scale. It just happened to Justin Fairfax on a large scale. Why? Because he ended up killing himself and he killed a wife. So now we know how, if you look into the story, you kind of know how Justin was not treated as a human. Because something happened to him and he was not treated as a human. Let's just be real about that. Okay? Now, so you're a black male, you will more than likely not be treated as a human. Now, in this particular case, two women made basically false accusation against him. They were never proven. The man was never criminally charged. And as far as I know, they're fine. Those two women are fine. Now, I would guess somebody paid them because, the issue was, the real issue going on was people did not want Justin Fairfax to become a governor. So my belief is somebody paid these women to make these claims. Just make these claims. Don't worry about nothing else. And we're going to get you paid. Now, have the women been paid yet? I'm sure at this time they probably have been paid. But you know what? They weren't investigated, so it ain't like nobody going to check their records. Ain't nobody checking into what they may have done with some extra funds that came in because they just totally in the clear. They did their job. They just made some accusation, didn't have to prove anything, and they good at this particular point. Now, what happened to Justin? Justin Fairfax was not treated as a human. He was treated as a monster. And because he is seen as a monster, no. I know what some of y'all thinking. Well, he should be treated as a monster. He shot somebody. No. I'm talking about way before that. Once you had these two random women make an accusation toward him, he got monster treatment at that point forward. People was not messing with him. Okay? And I can understand it, but that don't make it less true. See, a lot of people act like understanding something stops it from being true. No, I understand people treating him like a monster, but he did get treated like a monster. Now, based on my assessment of his situation, Justin Fairfax was broken by the system. And Justin Fairfax did what broke men do. Stupid stuff. Ridiculous stuff. That's what happened. All right? Because if a situation gets you mad enough to kill somebody, and I'm not saying, I am not promoting a person getting mad should make them kill somebody. I'm saying, though, if you get mad enough to kill somebody, you should at least go after people who did the thing to you. Now, I do believe that Justin saw Cerina as one of the people who did something to him. That's what I believe. Justin made some assessments, and unfortunately for Cerina, he started to view her as one of the people doing something to him. Now, I don't think that was the right woman to go at. If you're going to go after some women, if you see her as one of the issues, okay, you get her. But what about the other two? What about the two who made the accusations? Because that's where all this stuff kicked off from. So now you got to ask yourself, well, if you're being reasonable, I believe you're going to ask yourself, how did Justin see Cerina? Now, according to the information that I've been able to find out, yeah, they were going through some divorce proceedings. They had separated themselves. And at the end of April, and it's still April right now, he had to be out of the home. He was court ordered to be out of the home. Why? To get the divorce to go through, they had to be they had to live in separate homes for at least a year. So Justin, who's now making no money at all, has to go out into the world and live somewhere else. Now, the thing is, people say and people offer that Justin may have been offered some help. I personally have a hard time buying into the fact that he was offered help for him. I think people probably offered him help for their situation, for them to do what they thought was right, to look good or whatever. But see, I think there's some real problems with if a person is a victim or not. Because if you see a victim, you treat a victim like a victim. If you don't treat a victim like a victim, you don't see a victim. And I'm just trying to figure out, because I'm not given a choice. And it's just something I'm doing on my show. I ain't saying people got to agree with it, but I ain't giving no choice. Today, I'm giving a choice. I'm giving a choice of there are 4 victims or there are 0 victims. And I ain't doing nothing in between, which is going to make me the villain for today's show. But hey, it's my show. I got to be the villain sometime, and that's okay. Because I think for the purposes of the discussion, it's a very fair thing to examine. So I'm only giving there are 4 victims or there's 0 victims, and we're going to see where it goes from there. We got the Great Black Reset who done came up, and Black Rule Strikes done came up, so I'm going to let them get the floor so they can throw out whatever they want to throw out, and we're going to see what it do. Black Rule Strikes, of course, you have elder privilege, so you may make your opening statement first, and then we'll get Great Black Reset in after you.
As I am on occasion to want to do, I'm going to defer to Black Reset because I'm not entirely sure what we're trying to do here. So I'm going to defer to Reset because maybe he can help to fill in some gaps of my understanding about the purpose of this discussion. So please, Reset, please.
Thank you, Black Guru. Normally I would refuse, but today I shall make an exception. Roger, I'll start with this. This what you want to do today? This what we're doing?
Hey,
This what we're doing today.
I've already announced that for the purposes of today's show, I am going to take the villain role. I've already announced
This is the hill that you want to down today. Okay, all right. Okay. The beginning of my statement is there's 4 victims, Roger. There's Cerina, there's the 2 children, and there's Roger. Roger is the 4th victim because he going for this foolishness today. This what's going on. Roger, this man, this guy, Mr. Fairfax, he killed his wife. We understand the circumstances and everything that came before it. He killed his wife because he was going through some tough circumstances. He orphaned his 2 children. He's not a victim. He's part of the problem. He's the culprit. He's the murderer. Just because you killed yourself don't make you a victim. This country, for years, told us we were 3/5 of a man, less than a man. How is Justin Fairfax being treated any differently than the rest of us? This country has set itself against us as black men from its inception all the way up until today. Justin Fairfax ain't been getting no special treatment by nobody. Should Bill Cosby kill his wife? Should any of the men that have been unfairly and unjustly charged by the court of public opinion or the courts themselves, should they go off and kill their significant others and orphan their children? No. as much as we talk about black women and abortions and how many how many people we're missing from our nation because of it, we can't hold this man up. We can't hold these decisions up that this man made. Justin Fairfax, man, folded under pressure, man. Now I ain't gonna say he's a monster, but bro, he has been weighed, he has been measured, and he has been found wanting, bro. There's four victims, Roger. You're the fourth. I'm gonna
That is
close with that.
unavailable, brother. So the thing is, if officially you're going with zero victims at this point, because I'm not a choice. The only choices are Justin, his wife Cerina, and their two children. You know, so they're either all victims or there are no victims. And yeah, there is a purpose behind the show. There is a purpose behind the show. Now, I'm gonna say nobody required you to hold up his actions and say that was the thing to do. That is a totally unrequired thing. Now, you can do that, but nobody asked you to. But I'm gonna let Black Guru get in from here, then,
Well,
I guess.
yeah, look, I think I'm ready to speak now. Thanks, Reset. That
You're
helps
welcome. You're welcome, brother.
to
You're welcome,
frame
brother.
my perspective to some degree. Although I am going to slightly disagree with you, Reset. I do think Justin was a victim. Uh, and if you watched all the videos, it's very apparent that he was a victim of professional and political sabotage. It's very apparent. You know, the governor gets in trouble, he may have to rescind his position. Um, Justin is in line to ascend to that position. And then governor of the great state of Virginia, one of the original 13 colonies, and everything that comes with that historically. And then summarily after that, two lovely, uh, black women come out of nowhere, very well spoken and very well crafted, accuse him of, sex crime. He was definitely a victim. Most certainly, most assuredly, a victim of personal, professional, and political sabotage. I have no doubt in my mind about that. And what's sadly ironic about what I saw in those videos was I saw a very strong, smart, determined, organized man. When he presented his defense of himself, of his reputation, of his career, that's a man that could have and should have survived the loss of his professional career. He most assuredly could have done that. So my issue with Justin is, dude, you had all the material necessary to get past this, and you chose not to for whatever reasons. Now, this business of whether he didn't get help and whether he was helped to it, that's all conjecture and innuendo. We don't know what anybody tried to do for that dude. We don't know what his wife tried to do for him. He had a brother who, dean of Howard Law School, tried to do from him. Apparently his mother is still alive. There's an uncle. The uncle was a part of that troop who, I guess, brought him out of the woods with the gun. So apparently he had people who cared about him. Now, here's the thing. None of us are Professor X. None of us are telepaths. So none of us are going to know wholly what anyone else needs. None of us are. You know, sometimes when you're really fucked up in your head, the best thing that people can do is to show you that they love you and they care for you. And when you get to some place in which I can help you, I'm there. That's usually the best that even the people who love you the most can do for you when you drop to a certain depth. Now, apparently that was the case with this guy, that he had dropped to a certain depth that nobody could help him out of, including and sadly, evidently even his own wife. So while I agree there are four victims here, and Justin is one of them, I think Justin compounded his victimhood and thus made victims of three other people. And they were the three people closest to him. And that's the sad irony of it. He was a victim and he himself made three other victims. And that's my opening statement.
I'm gonna say shout out to Black Rule. That was a fantastic opening statement that I can say I agree with. I can actually say that. Shout out to Afro Merchant. He said his defense was good. He said she even chilled with him after the act and wanted him to meet her mother. Yeah, those are very interesting circumstances for a person who has the viewpoint that they were sexually assaulted. That's what I'm gonna say. To continue to communicate with a guy. Now I know they said, they cut off communication and things like that, but they communicate. And you want somebody to meet your mom and he sexually assaults you, that's just a very peculiar thing. And y'all, as a person who just don't buy in coincidence like that, I'm not saying the coincidence could never happen, but I don't really buy into stuff that don't make sense. That's just me. Okay. Now, again, I'm going to say, looking at where Justin was going, based on what I've learned about his particular story, I think this person could have been the next Black. Not saying he would have been the next president of the United States. I think he might have been the next Black president of the United States. I could see it going in that direction. Very well-spoken man, very educated man. The two most prestigious jobs you can still have in America are doctor and lawyer, and he's one of them. He was a lawyer. Yes, his professional career died. Okay, now I ain't gonna even say that. His professional career was killed. Okay, they destroyed this man, and he did everything he could think of to stop that destruction. So my thing is, yeah, he's a victim. Now I can appreciate the people who are sincerely saying something about Black men and mental health. I can appreciate somebody saying they have a lack of knowledge. But I'm gonna say this, y'all. See, my thing is, how do you make it personal to you? Let's say this is my brother. My brother's going through a situation, something like this. He's being destroyed. And I find out my brother was in the woods with a gun that I didn't even know he owned. Because they said Justin went out, he took some horseback ride money, some money that was put aside for some horseback ride, and he went and bought a gun. So what does this mean? We don't, as family, we don't understand him to be a gun owner. That's not the Justin we know. We don't know Justin as a gun owner. Justin becomes a gun owner, and he in the woods by himself. Now, I'm going to say, if I see him as human, and I want to help Justin, I got to do what I got to do at this particular point. This, my brother, he's getting committed. It is what it is, y'all. And I don't throw that around loosely because I don't believe, I think people say the word crazy all the time on a regular basis. They use it very loosely, but they don't really mean that someone mentally ain't got it together. When you in the woods by yourself, you're not a gun owner, and now you have a gun, you've just slipped into crazy. I'm gonna treat it as if it's crazy, which means we're gonna have to get you locked up. Now, maybe that's too sudden, maybe that's too much. Well, you're gonna have to figure that out on the inside. Because I got to get you locked up now. If I care about you, if I loved you, you done told me I need to lock you up based on your actions. So now, I'm not saying people didn't care for this man in some kind of way, because people do care for pets. But if you've seen him as human, how come you didn't lock him up? Now, I'm going to throw that out there. I'm not saying that to embarrass any family member, in case they hear this or anything like that. No, I'm just saying, I'm just being realistic. If this was my brother, who I see as a human, and you tell me he off in the woods by himself, he's not known to be a gun owner, and all of a sudden he got a gun, Nah, brother, you got to get committed. Now, you might be mad at me later on down the road, but you're going to have to fight that fight by getting out that institution. We got to get you institutionalized. Because if you're alive, we can get somewhere. If you're dead, I can't get anywhere with that. You know, and if y'all had paid any attention to me for a long period of time, y'all will understand Roger has been taught stuff about being dead wrong. It's a big lesson that I got in my life about being dead wrong. It's not about being right per se. It's not about doing what's easy. It's about if you make certain choices, you will end up dead wrong. And I think those were the choices that Justin made. I think those were the choices that Cerina made. She was dead wrong. Now, people be saying, you shouldn't blame a victim. I think she should have committed the man. That's what I honestly believe. And I believe she would have had the power to do that because she still was his wife at the time. So all those wifely benefits that you have, she still had them. Now, I get it. You don't like the man like that because you wanted a divorce. I'm not saying she don't have the right to want a divorce, but
let's slow down. Let's slow down a little bit. Slow down a little bit. You don't even know if she tried to commit him. You don't know that. Do you know how difficult it is to commit someone, particularly someone like Justin? His particular background, his particular education, that ain't an easy thing to do. That ain't an easy thing to do at all. So let's just slow down a little bit. And if you're gonna say what you think should have happened, unless you read it and it's actually from a credible source, let's at least impute in what we're saying the possibility that we don't know what the hell we're talking about. Because most of this we don't.
I mean, I will always concede we only know based on the public information that was made available to us at the time of this report. But I also know, because how America is with a black man's reputation, if they would have tried to commit this man, I'm pretty sure it would have been came out by now. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying it's easy to commit a person.
She is a physician. She is a physician. Now, this is what a physician would do. A physician with her husband is not going to make a public showing of trying to commit that man. Because she's a physician, she can back channel with all kinds of doctors and psychiatrists and all that kind of bullshit about what their options are in that regard, and it never has to go public. It never has to be even in part of any public record. So just because something was not reported does not mean that she did not try to actually enforce some sort of involuntary treatment for him. She may have actually tried to do that. She may have been advised against it for whatever reasons, because if it falls through, then it impacts whatever kind of dealing she have in divorce court. So again, let's just kind of dial down some of the speculation a little bit, or at least if you're going to speculate, make it very clear that you're speculating.
I'm saying what we know and what we don't know, and at this point, we just don't know. Did she try to have him committed? And I'm gonna say at this point, we do know he was found with a gun. And if you believe he's a human being, you have to treat him like a human being. Now, if you think it's a dog, not that big a deal. You know, you don't really need to worry about correcting the dog. It's just a dog. It's gonna die anyway. And I know people who love animals will say, well, that's not the right way to think about an animal. But let's keep it real. There are humans that are gonna look at dogs that way. I ain't saying it's right. I'm just saying what it is. Now shout out to Jerome Payne. Appreciate the super chat, my brother. He says, hard to get real help for mental health as a black man in the USA. No one cares about us, really. And now, what I'm saying is, I mean, this man did have a huge fall. You went from lieutenant governor to going back into nobody status. You know, your money is drying up. You know, I don't know what he had in the bank, but your money's drying up. When you go to 400,000 to 11,000 to zero, whatever you had is still getting spent up. And based on reports I saw, Justin was asking people for money. So, you know, to get certain things done, he's leaning on friends or family to even get money from. They said he was, you know, getting money, asking his mama for money so he can deal with lawsuits and different things like that. Now, is he a perfect man? No. I think, which I didn't hear any evidence on, I think he should have sued the two women that made the claim. I don't think he did that. And to me, as a person who sees a lawyer who won't sue the two women that made the claim, to me, that sounds like he's not in his right mind. If you're going to sue some people and lead them out of it, that don't sound like a lawyer in their right mind.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. If he's a lawyer and he won't sue people for defaming his character or even attempt to do so, that don't sound like he ain't in his right mind. That sounds like he might be guilty.
No. He sued CBS now. He just lost. I would
No,
sue the women too.
that sounds like somebody who is an attorney and knows the system and knows the probability of whether or not that would be a successful suit. And whether even
Right.
the expense of doing it might actually be greater than any damn money he might get out of them hoes.
I can buy that.
That's what that sounds like to me.
I
That's
can buy
why
that.
you sue CBS. That's why you sue
Right.
multi-billion-dollar CBS and not sue them hoes.
Okay, that's reasonable. That's reasonable. All right, you see how I can back up off of my supposition and say, you know what, that's reasonable. Roger, you should try that. You should try that.
But hey, I do that whenever it makes sense. Now I do that whenever it makes sense. And all I'm saying, because his reputation was on the line, I still would have sued them too. You know what I'm saying? Because one of his main goals was to clear his name, and because that was one of his main goals, it's not about getting the money out of them. It's about him doing the opposite thing of what you should have to do in America, which is prove your innocence.
How frequently have you seen a man be able to successfully sue their accusers? How frequently have you seen it?
Honestly, I can't even think of a case offhand where some man was able to do that.
And this is an attorney, so he knows better than us the probability of that being worth doing.
Correct.
Yeah, no, I totally get that, and that's why I'm saying, because for him, the number one thing was getting his reputation back. You know what I'm saying? To me, it's like you do it anyway. You're not gonna get money out of them, probably. If they do have any money,
the polygraph test, that was enough for him to go and reestablish his law practice someplace else. That was enough. If he's not in politics, if he just is an attorney,
we lost you, Black Hole.
He's gone.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
he was making too much sense for you right now. I understand.
Yeah, I mean, if he just was gonna be an attorney somewhere, he'd have been fine. Nobody would have known. And you move out of the state, nobody even know anything about any of that or cares anything about any of that.
Now, I think him leaving the state was a proper option to take, because people say some ugly choices, and I've said before, sometimes you ain't got nothing but bad choices in front of you. I don't think that was quite the case for him. I do believe, had he just moved somewhere else, work with a different law firm, he good to go. He's still this Duke graduate. He's still an actual lawyer. You can go practice somewhere else and get the heat off you. Now, I don't know where that place would have been. I'm not saying it would have been as financially lucrative for him.
His brother was dean of Howard Law School. That's a very connected position in the legal profession. That's a very connected position in the legal profession. He could have easily got reestablished in his law practice. Maybe his ass just didn't want to be an attorney. Maybe that was his problem.
I
Not a working
I
one.
think he saw his possible rise into to becoming a presidential candidate, and he was so fixated on it, he just didn't want to let that go. I think that's what we're dealing with here, because he could have gone
Well,
to a
I mean
small.
that was real, that was crazy though, because the moment those two women came out, it was over.
Yeah, I
He's not
agree,
Donald
but
Trump.
I think his
Yeah, I mean,
fixation,
so yeah.
I think
No,
the
I agree.
fixation
I
is
agree.
what undone it. I think that's what undone him. I mean, I'm from a very small town. I think right now it's got like 30,000 people in it, but when I was growing up, it was like 10,000. The city lawyer makes $300 an hour. He could have gone to a small town in the middle of nowhere that don't nobody know, don't nobody know where he's at, and he could have reestablished his life, man.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous.
Mhm.
That's what I was trying to say. I was going to say, yeah, he could have ended up maybe in Alaska somewhere. It wouldn't have been the same thing, but he could have, quote unquote, been okay.
Yeah.
Now,
I don't even think it would have had to be. I don't even think it would have had to been that drastic. I think he could have went to Philadelphia someplace, or Illinois someplace, or fucking St. Louis or someplace, and he'd have been just fine. I don't even
yeah,
think it would even
Hell,
been that dramatic.
hell, he could have got on YouTube and made some money.
possibly. Now that bad reputation behind you, it's hard to tell what people are going to be able to do, especially as a black man. And my thing is this: is he actual? Is he an actual human? Because I'm gonna say, based on the stuff I'm seeing, no, he ain't. He's not a human, and I think that's where we go too far. Because again, for me, there's either 4 victims or there's 0 victims. Now I've seen some, and I'm gonna say, yeah, it was a lot of women involved in it, but there was a couple of guys involved in it too. Their whole thing is Justin was never a victim. People were mad that people had good things to say about him. I also heard that Roland Martin did something because Roland Martin knew him personally, but he had been on Roland Martin's show a few times, and Roland Martin kind of did something to quote unquote help him, and they say he got a whole lot of backlash for that. So seeing a black man as a human is somehow bad. Now, the thing is, we know the outcome. I have heard no one say the outcome was a good outcome. So my thing is not about what the outcome is, but I honestly believe had he been treated like a human being, we'd have never got to that outcome. That's
Okay,
what I.
but the fact that he had Roland Martin as a friend and a supporter suggests that maybe if he just get himself together, he's got some people who could roll with him. If Roland Martin is willing to bet his reputation on publicly taking a step further, Scott, that says a lot to me. That says he was not as destitute in terms of friendships and associations and network and support as we might assume he was.
Well, I mean, saying something after he did ain't quite saying something when he's going through the situation. So I would have to say, well, what did Roland Martin do when he was going through? That would be my question. But saying good stuff about him after he
We
did it.
don't know, but this is a disgrace. Think about this for a second now. Think about this. This is a disgrace, murder, suicide dude. Now, for Roland Martin to risk his reputation, his platform, to in any way speak positively of this guy says for whatever reason, he really cared about this dude. That there was something real there. Now I can't say what Roland Martin did or didn't do or failed to do to help him. I can't speak of that. But I can only speak. Roland Martin risked a lot, and you yourself just described the shit that he took for it. So, from my perspective, you don't do that unless you really care something for this dude. Because the easier thing for Roland Martin to do is just say, yeah, I knew the guy, but he was crazy and whatever, and y'all right. Vilify him. That's the easy thing for Roland Martin to do. And he got 1 million viewers while he's doing that. But that's not what he did.
Well, I don't want to say that Roland Martin didn't care for the guy. Obviously, he did. I don't want to take that away from him. All I'm saying is, when it comes down to it, the man was in a very tough situation, and the world didn't give him human treatment as he was going through that situation. And when you don't treat a person like a human, and then they start acting like they're not human, to me it makes sense. And it's
No,
that.
no, you can't say that. If Roland Martin stepped up, that's the world giving him human treatment. Is Roland Martin not a large enough presence to say that the world is giving him human treatment?
Well, that's stepping up after he dead already. He dead now. He didn't get that. That's something we getting. He didn't get it. He dead.
But we don't know what Roland Martin tried to do with or for him before that. We don't know if he reached out to Roland Martin for help and Roland refused it. We don't know if that happened. We don't know any of that.
I'm not saying we do. That's why I literally just said it depends on what Roland did when he was going through. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not throwing a stone at him. I said it depends on what he did when he was going through, which we don't know right now.
And here's the thing. Here's the thing, Roger. Now I've been around a while, and I've seen brothers go through terrible shit. And in some cases I was able to help them. Some cases I wasn't. But in every instant, it was a function of their effort. It was a function
Yes.
of their belief in themselves, their ability to cogently see the position they were in, and then receive the help necessary to get out of that situation and not fight me while I'm trying to help them. Because that's very often, unfortunately, very often a fairly common thing that happens with black men in trouble, where they'll fight you while you're trying to help them. Because a lot of times it's because of ego, and because this guy went from being governor to nothing, and all of the ego destruction or whatever associated with that. And then now I got to come hat in hand begging from help from people who I was at their level or even above their level. I was going to be governor. I was going to be the black governor of Virginia. Well, that's a mental and emotional toll that might make it difficult to help him.
Yeah, I mean, I won't say that ain't true. The only thing I would say is, if my brother, who I know is a gun owner, ends up in the woods with a gun, at that point, I'm ready to physically fight to help him. I will fight him to help him at that point. That's all I'm saying. Again, I'm not trying to say what somebody else coulda, woulda, shoulda. No, I'm just saying I'm looking at certain things and seeing perceptions. If I love you, that's my brother. I will fight my brother to get him out of the woods with a gun. That I would physically do. And I love that man.
But my understanding is the Wood incident occurred in 2021. That's 5 years ago.
Yeah. And I'm saying
I mean, I don't know. Well, I'm saying I don't know if I'm his brother or whatever. I don't know if I don't know if that brother or the uncle, because the uncle was there to pull him out of the woods. So obviously the uncle cared about him, right? So I mean, I don't know what they think they had done or attempted to do to help him over the last five. That was 5 years ago. I don't know what they attempted to do to help him or think they might have helped. Think they might have gotten him past that. Might not have even known he still had the gun.
No, I'm not trying to blame them. I'm just saying there's certain things that you do, and unfortunately, sometimes you make decisions and you're dead wrong. So whatever they did, they was just dead wrong about it. That's all. I'm not gonna say they didn't try anything.
Well, I mean, I don't know if they were wrong. I don't and y'all, y'all Christian view of don't God say y'all got free will? And that's what y'all God say?
Yeah, absolutely.
Ain't that's what y'all God say? So how
Absolutely.
am I wrong about him? If I'm the uncle or the mama or even the wife, how am I wrong about him exerting his free will? How am I
I'm,
wrong about that?
I'm not saying that. What
That's
I'm
what we're
saying is
doing over.
that's what I'm that's what I'm
What
saying
you-
is
I'm
my,
just, hey, if you believe it, testify to it.
hey, no,
we blaming God now
no.
for Fairfax.
I,
Okay, all
No, I'm
right,
not.
all right.
I'm trying to understand. I'm just trying to, because I'm a heathen, so I'm just trying to understand.
all right, well, let me just say this to clarify,
I can't do this.
and then
Oh,
get these other gentlemen
Uru,
in
you're the
here.
only person I'm hearing. I'm gonna go out and come back in.
All right, I'm gonna say this and get these other two guys in. Well, my father taught me about being dead wrong. I'm gonna say it again. It's not about whether you wrong or right. It's about the fact that the decisions that were made still ended up with somebody being dead. So whatever they did, they were dead wrong because he ended up dead. And not only did he end up dead, his wife ended up dead too. So that's what being dead
They are
wrong is
not
about.
wrong. They are not. I disagree with that. They are not wrong that a man decided to take his own life. How are they wrong for that?
No, I'm
How are they
saying
wrong for that?
no. It's about whatever you did to help him when he's coming out of the woods with a gun. Whatever they did, obviously didn't work. That's what I'm saying. It didn't work. I ain't saying they had bad intentions. I'm just saying it literally didn't work. Now, we got AL Evans in the house, and we got Shark Sims in the building as well. So, AL, you got the mic. Do your thing.
Good morning, gentlemen. Peace to the panel in the chat. Long live the habitual line steppers. Yay, yay. You know how we do. Oh, yeah. The PSA service announcement. I'm back. But anyway, this is a tragic situation. Just tragic. There's no other way around it. I mean, two people dead, one man. I mean, to the fact that a man came out the woods, he came out the woods holding a gun, and you shoot him. Why did you shoot him? Doesn't he have the right to have a gun? Why is it that when
Huh?
police see
Man, I'm bringing the truck. I'm bringing the truck
Hold
back.
on.
I'm finna. I'm
Hold
going
on.
to. I'm going.
He don't know he's doing that. I got it. Okay, I just muted. Go ahead, brother.
okay, yeah, this man had a gun when he supposedly came out the woods. All right, any man entitled to have a gun? Why is it as soon as the police see a man with a gun, they want to shoot? You don't ask questions. Are you a concealed hand carrying person carrying a weapon? No, they don't do that. They just shot him. That's what makes it tragic. I mean, now if it would have been an Anglo-Saxon Caucasian coming out the woods with a gun, oh, no problem.
Well,
No,
hold on, Ed. Hold on, Ed, because you got some facts mixed up. No, in his situation, his family found him with the gun, quote unquote. The family found him with the gun, so he didn't die
okay,
there. He didn't die there at all. What I was saying was the fact that he was a non-gun owner. You know, he was not known for being a gun owner. All right.
so
They
all
said he
right,
took money from his kids' horseback riding fund to even purchase the gun. So this is a non-gun owner. You got to come into
okay,
concept with
but
that. He's a
okay,
non-gun owner.
okay. All right, stop with that. He became a gun owner. You can become a gun owner at any given point in time in your life. And if you wasn't a gun owner before that, but you became a gun owner, but your family's not aware, your family can't be aware of every single aspect of your life or what you do, but to say, all right, we didn't know that he was a gun owner. No, he owned a gun. It was a gun in his hand. That makes him a gun owner. You still prejudging the situation. I mean, from the outside looking in a generalization type scenario, I mean, like I said, it's just tragic. I pass the mic.
No, it's very tragic. But what I'm saying is, when the family found out about the gun, they also found him in the woods by himself, contemplating should he take his own life. And all I'm saying is, when you find a man in that state, you gonna have to make some tough decisions. You know, I'm not saying they didn't try to quote unquote make some right decisions. You know, whatever it was, it just didn't work. That's all I'm saying. It didn't work.
Question, Roger. Did he brandish that firearm at his family members?
Not that I'm aware of. He was only thinking about taking his own life at that point.
Okay, and if he does, and if he did, that's that man's choice. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong, but I do understand he had a choice to make. He made it. I don't condone suicide attempts. I had family member in my family commit suicide. Not cool.
No. I'm not tripping on that. It's just years later when he finally does take his own life. Now he done killed his wife first. So now two people died instead of just him dying. So that's puts an extra layer of tragedy on the situation.
Did they come to any conclusions why he offed his wife? What was the rationale of that?
I mean, that is speculation because only he could tell us, and he did. You know, now I definitely got my reason on why I believe he did that. I believe he saw his wife as part of this huge problem that he had, and the only way to see himself out, unfortunately, he said, you know, she gonna have to go too because she one of my main enemies right now. Now my thing is, I would have looked at those two ladies who started this in the first place. That's what I would have looked at. Now,
what did they do?
Well, they accused him of the sexual assaults in the first place, which started everything. But let me get these Shark Sims in here. Shark, you got the flow, brother.
Hey, what's up, fellas? How y'all doing?
Doing good, brother.
Peace to the chat.
Good
Peace
morning.
to the panel.
Salutations.
Welcome back, AL. Me personally,
thank you.
He realized he realized he messed everything all the way up. Now you can't blame his family for what he did. They tried, like Uru was saying. You don't know. You tried 5 years ago. You got him off the ledge. He could have been telling them anything. He could have been telling them he all right, 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 to the point where now they realize he wasn't all right. So I can't say the family's dead wrong for no. They tried and they did their job and they got him off the ledge. Me personally, after watching them videos, the clips that you put up, and I seen the man Fairfax himself talk, I think he did it and he realized, yeah, I messed up everything. And I don't have nothing else to go for but doing what I'm gonna do now. Now, where the wife came into play with it, I don't understand. I don't know why he killed her because he the one that messed up his own career. But I definitely, when I heard him talk and I seen his mannerisms, it wasn't a sorrow in his body. Like he reminded me of another black politician that's just mad charismatic and slick to the point where you wouldn't even see the bullshit artists in them unless you know what bullshit artists look like. You know what I mean? So he did what he did because he did what he did because he did what he did. And there are four victims. Him, his kid, well, not even him. It's 3 victims. His 2 kids and his wife.
Well, unfortunately, that choice ain't available today. The only choice available is either 4 victims or 0 victims. Because see, and because this is what I'm saying. If he's not a victim, I can't see her as a victim because, number one, that's his wife. They come together as husband and wife. What a husband and wife do each other, that ain't even our business. Not for real.
Roger, you Uru, talk to him, please.
ain't no talking on that.
Well, look, here's the thing, Shark. I mean, I patently disagree with you with respect to what you assert about his guilt. I mean, everything I saw of those videos, I'm much more inclined to think he's innocent. I think the 2 polygraph tests, I think him calling for investigations in both states that is alleged to occur, the fact that for one of the incidents, there apparently was a date discrepancy between when he was in a particular location and when this incident allegedly occurred. The fact that neither of these incidents were reported to law enforcement, I'm much more inclined to assert his innocence than I am his guilty. His guilt based on everything that has been presented thus far. I mean, whether he's a politician who is slick looking and slick talking, well, what politician ain't slick looking and slick talking? That don't necessarily mean they're rapists.
Well, why kill yourself if you're innocent?
Because at the end of the day, the world wouldn't treat him as a human, and he thought the main part of his world was literally lynching him, and he couldn't find a way to win. He dealt with this for years and could not find a way to win. So the thing is, he gave up.
No.
That's the
I
reality
think
of it.
his wife finally filing for divorce meant that it really is over. It's really over, and he couldn't
think
deal
that
with
was
it.
the straw that broke the camel's back?
I think that was the straw, and not only her filing, but it included a court order that he must vacate the premises by the end of this month. Because I think she only filed in March or whatever. I think so. I think everything coming together and like it's really over. Like my family's over, my marriage is over. Everything that I thought I was fighting for is over. And we talked when we talked about this previously about him having that blue pill mindset that the fantasy about what I'm gonna be or what I could be is effectively and officially over. I think that might have caused him to snap.
And I want to say, I think the real thing was, it got real to him. I'm gonna say that because sometimes we know stuff is out there, but it get real to you at a certain moment. And this could be just when you a kid growing up and there's you got this exam coming up, but you ain't really worried about it. But then 3 days before that thing about to hit, it's coming on Friday. So Wednesday it got real to you. I need to study for real, for real. You know what I'm saying? I need to study. Okay. Or somebody could be at a job and they tell you, look, man, you keep stacking this stuff up the wrong way. The next time you stack it up the wrong way, we getting rid of you. And it ain't real to you until that moment when they say, man, we already told you about this several times. You fired. Some people don't, it ain't real to them until they fired. So him obviously valuing this marriage. I think that final straw was when he was told, look, by April, you got to be out the house, because it's one thing to say they're getting a divorce, even though they lived together and they was in separate rooms and they're operating out the same household. Even though I've seen some reports that say it was terrible what he was going to go through, which I'm going to share that in a second. But once that judge put that ruling in and say, well, look, the only way for y'all to really get this done, y'all have to live in separate homes for at least a year. Therefore, I'm ordering you to be out the house at the end of April. See, now it got real. It's over with now. I'm about to be put out the house. I got till April, to the end of April, and I'm gone. So this divorce that I obviously don't want to have happen, man, it's real now. Because now we're going through the actual separation process.
He was.
And I'm gonna tell you something.
He supposedly was $700,000.
You said he was $6,000 in debt.
No, he was all kinds of debt.
I'm saying he supposedly was. He was over $700,000 in debt. I think much of that, if not most of that, was because of that house. So he was going to be put out of that house while still have to pay for that house. So when you put all that together with all his other prior mental and emotional issues, and the final collapse of the marriage and everything, putting that all together probably is what caused the kind of psychic break. I'm certainly not at all justifying what he did. I'm just saying, if you put all that stuff together, you can see how an already compromised mind and spirit would just say, fuck it.
Yeah, I hear that, but I tell you this much. I'm not saying it's right, but when he took his vows, He literally took them seriously. Guess what, honey? You coming with me. You might not like it, but you're coming. Because guess what? You want to end this thing we call the marriage when we stood before these folks and make me out to be a fool? Yeah, because I was almost in a position like that. Was similar. I mean, when as far as the woman wanting to call it quits, I'm like, I'm trying to build all this. We got these kids. We trying to put these kids through school, and all of a sudden you woke up one day and decided you want to change your mind like you changed your drawers. I could have easily said, you know what? I'm gonna take the shotgun, and guess what? I married you. I'm going down. You're going down with me. But I didn't take that route because I was raised better than that. But don't think I didn't have those thoughts. So I know what he was thinking. I know what he was thinking, and I ain't mad at him. Everybody else could want to judge that situation, but who are you to judge it until you're in it, literally in it, the thick of it?
Well,
If you haven't been a part of that walk, don't speak on it.
I think the reality is most men don't think about that. They just don't necessarily do it. I do believe most of them really actually think about that. Now, in this particular situation, they broke him. He gave in. He gave up. And when you get a person who gives up, they're willing to do stuff they wouldn't have thought about doing previously. And I think they just simply broke this man at the end of the day. You know, a lot of men a lot of men have had to face divorce. This marriage clearly meant something to him, and getting put out their house when everything else that was going on was clearly too much. And he had, I'm not going to say it was an obsession about getting his name clear, but it obviously was an extremely important thing to the day he died. It was an extremely important thing. So when it comes down to it, I think he's either a victim, and because he was a victim that was left untreated, now you got more victims. And if he's not a victim, my thing is, well, he was married to a woman. You marry at your level because, you a man. It is what it is. And now we can't look at his kids as victim because, hey, his son gonna grow up to be a man one day. If his daddy's situation ain't important, neither should his situation be important. And since he got a daughter that's gonna grow up and be a woman one day, well, we don't care about your background either. You are what you are. See, my thing is, I can't look at one person and be inhuman toward them, but I'm gonna be human toward the other people involved in the situation. Either we're gonna treat this man as a human or we not. And I get it because a lot of people say, well, because of what he did, I don't care no more. I'm gonna say generally nobody cared in the first place. And I'm not gonna say it was absolutely nobody, but go ahead.
Thank you, Uru.
A lot of men have had their reputation destroyed by false accusations or unproven accusations. Many, if not most of those men, have children, have family, have property, have extended family that care about them. He's not the only man that's had to endure this thing. They ruined Travis Smiley. Don't y'all remember how we used to always hear about Travis Smiley? Don't y'all remember that?
Oh yes. I distinctly recall
he was
that.
ruined. He was ruined by Me Too accusations. That's why nobody hears from Travis Smiley anymore. Y'all don't know that? Y'all don't remember that? Y'all don't remember that? Y'all don't remember Travis Smiley being Me Too?
Yeah.
So he ain't the first guy who have gone through this. And these were women that worked with and for Travis Smiley who accused him of that. These were women close to him, women he had helped and promoted and built up and supported. So he's not the first guy who's gone through this and have lost most everything or everything because of it. He's not the first, and he won't be the last. Look at Deshaun Watson. He went from a Hall of Fame career to a public disgrace now. Deshaun Watson, the great previously Texan quarterback. Some hoes came out of nowhere, accused him of something, nothing ever proven. Twice the Texas District Attorney's Office refused to even indict him. It refused to even indict him in Texas. It still didn't.
But the world
The
condemned
NFL
him.
from suspending them. It didn't stop the NFL from suspending them, and it didn't stop the world from condemning. But he's still in there. He's still on that Browns roster trying to get back on the field.
The number one quarterback coming in the preseason. Ain't played in the last 3 seasons.
Well, this is the thing. This happens to men on a regular basis. I'm pretty sure it's thousands of men going through a very similar scenario today. They're just not as public as Justin is. And when you do a certain thing to a certain amount of people, you're going to have some losers in there. Some people can win through. Some people can go through it unscathed. Everybody ain't coming out unscathed. Just is what it is. So for me, Justin is just one of these guys that went through it and he did not come out unscathed. To me, it's to be expected.
Right. But here's the thing, though. He tried to become governor of Virginia. Now, to me, if you're trying to become governor of Virginia, nigga, you got to have balls of adamantium or vibranium.
Exactly.
You know, you can't be no punk, man. You trying to become governor of Virginia, for Christ's sake. So you didn't have no business even trying to get that job to begin with.
Now see,
if you wasn't that kind of dude.
Yep. If you wasn't built for it.
See, I can go with that because again, at the end of the day, men go through stuff on a regular basis, especially black men. But for me to have the expectation that every last one of us gonna get through it unscathed, to me, sounds ridiculous. I'm just gonna keep it real. It just sounds ridiculous that every black man who get put through the ringer gonna come out of it unscathed. So Justin didn't make it.
And apparently he thought he was gonna skate in there because of the governor got caught in blackface in Virginia. Of course, the governor got caught with blackface in Virginia. One white politician in Virginia don't have blackface.
God damn it!
Come on, man.
No,
There's hoods and blackfaces all over Virginia.
No, I think that
Black Guru. Let me ask Black Guru.
Go ahead.
This kind of perfect. The last black governor Virginia had was old Wilder. Am I correct? And they ain't seen a black governor since.
Yeah. Of course not. So,
it was gonna be stacked against him anyway.
Became governor. It's been over 30 years.
And he was only a one-term governor, right?
Became governor of Virginia.
Well, he was only a one-term governor, right?
You can only be governor in Virginia. You can only be governor for 1 term. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Right. Yeah. Well, we got a new we got a new panelist joining. I ain't gonna say his full name. I wish he wouldn't have had this name, but we gonna see what happens. He say the Michael movie is, and I'm gonna switch that word out for booty. He said it's booty, man. He calling it trash. I wish you wouldn't have put that name because I'm still probably gonna see this movie anyway. But I'm gonna let you. That's just a horrible way to come in, brother. The movie just coming out, bro. That's a horrible way to come in, but you got the flow, brother. You got the flow.
They call me the lifesaver because I'm trying to save people's money, man. I'm trying to save people's money. You see how it is, people? Niggas can't do nothing right. Try to save folks a few dollars, you get persecuted. So I have to listen a little bit because I'm where we at right now. Are we still talking about this weak ass nigga?
Yes.
Yes.
That's exactly what we're talking about. Yes.
Okay, well then let me say this then. Let me say this for my opening speech. So last time you got the rated G version. This time you're gonna get the PG-13. Ladies and gentlemen, at the end of the day, This woman was a good woman. Even when this dude was showing signs of serious mental illness, she stuck by him. Now, other people gonna say that, oh, she didn't want to sell a house, she didn't stop the divorce. Well, you know what, folks? It is human nature not to want to be homeless. It is okay to not want to give up your house that you spend 10 years in. That is reasonable. Just because a dude is tweaking, right? Because this dude showed symptoms that he needed help. His family tried to do the best he can to get help. And at the end of the day, he failed himself, he failed his family, and most importantly, he failed his children. And he failed his children in two ways. Number one, it was his children that failed him. So those children are traumatized for life. Can you imagine being that age to find your dead parents' bodies? Then on top of that, you found out that daddy committed a Roger. That's right, folks. That's what we're calling it from now on.
All hell.
Right? Committed that. Right? So at the end of the day, man, this is just it's a tragedy. It shows that we do need to get therapy and help. But most importantly, nobody are talking about the real victims of this, which are the children. And I'll pass the mic on that.
What? See, now I'm gonna ask you, and I'm not saying you got to answer right this second. In this particular scenario, were there 4 victims or were there 0 victims?
There were 2. Oh,
no. There's only an option of 4 or 0.
Roger's doing what black women do. He's gonna follow you the way he wants you to go. Yeah,
exactly. I'm not telling nobody what to go. I'm not telling nobody where to go. My thing is, I'm looking at, do we see human behavior? Or are we even white supremacists ourselves?
No, but you can't because Roger, right? Even from your statements, you said under 18 children are innocent. I believe those 2 children are under 18.
We're not saying the children did anything, but I do believe they qualify to be victims. They got a dead mom and a dead daddy, and one parent killed themselves. The other person was killed by the parent. Them sound like victims to me.
But it's not if you killed yourself, you're not a victim. If you killed yourself.
The children have a dead person who killed himself and a dead person who killed the other parent. To me, that sounds like they're victims.
No,
but
Roger,
he said 2 victims.
But Roger, this is what you're doing to me. This is what you're doing to me, brother. You're telling me I just want a pack of cigarettes. You trying to sell me a carton. And you're telling me, nigga, we only sell cartons, not packs. So
that's not what I'm doing. And I know you ain't been around for the rest of the show. This is a simple fact to me. If Justin is not a victim, he don't create victims. Hurt people, bro. Hurt people. You know, now people be saying that in a ridiculous way, but this is one of those actual things.
So you know what?
Wait, Roger.
Roger, bro, that makes 0 sense. That makes 0 sense.
No, I think Justin, because I know you weren't here earlier. The fact that he was publicly lynched is why he killed somebody.
Yeah, I mean, I think Justin definitely was a victim. I don't think he was a victim of his death per se, but it is quite clear to me that he was a victim of professional and personal and political sabotage. That's very apparent to me. The fact that we don't hear nothing about these women until he's about to ascend to the governor's office. It had been almost 20 years between that moment and when the first event allegedly happened. That happened in 2000. This came out in 2019. So he obviously was a victim of political, professional, and personal sabotage. He obviously was a victim.
I'm gonna say 0, right? Because if you want to play hardball, I'm playing hardball too. 0, nigga. There it is.
No. I'm not trying to play hardball. I'm trying to say, if at the end of the day, Justin, if he is not a victim, which means there's no value of his life, then we can't then say his wife a victim or his children are victims.
That makes zero sense.
No.
That makes zero sense.
If his life doesn't matter, how could his wife's life matter? How could his children's life matter if his life don't matter?
Because the reason why his life don't matter, because he told you his life don't matter when he took it. And he decided. I'm answering your question.
No. You're not answering my question. Well, you're talking about something that happened after he already became a victim. The man was literally lynched.
No,
there was a public lynching that happened to him.
Let's not do that. Words mean something. He was not tied to a tree.
No, he was publicly lynched. He was, he wasn't lynched as far as to being tied to a tree, but he was lynched as far as people went after his political career. That's a public lynching.
My answer is zero.
He was lynched in the media.
He's not a victim. My answer is zero.
And my thing is that's absolutely fine. Because if he's not a victim, his wife can't be a victim, and neither can his children. They're all of him.
So you're telling me children seeing their okay, all right, okay.
No, yeah, I am saying that.
Okay. If zero, right?
If Justin can't be a victim, no one else can be a victim.
He's doing magic right
now.
Yeah,
look, if Justin is not professionally destroyed, all this does not happen.
At all.
No. We can't do that. We can't do that because now we're getting leniency.
Why can't we do it?
Because first of all, victim, this nigga was not a victim, right? He pissed off the wrong person. That person retaliated, right? And then he
pissed off.
Decided. But just because somebody did a career hit on you doesn't make you a victim.
Oh, okay.
Why not?
He was living his own life.
Hold on. Explain to me why you're not a victim.
Sure.
Why not?
Please.
So I'm going to answer you. I'm going to answer you right now. When two boxers get into the ring, they both hit each other, right? Neither one is a victim, right? They both agreed to get into the ring. So when he got into the ring of politics, he hits. You're going to get hit.
Who did he hit?
In that same boxing match,
right?
If one of the fighters hit the other fighter in the kidney or the groin, that the fighter is struck as a victim because those hits are out of bounds.
No,
they're out of bounds. They're outside of the rules. They're outside of the rules of boxing. So even though the boxing match itself, he's not a victim for engaging in the boxing match himself, he would be the victim if he's hit in the fucking ear, for example, or in the groin, or in the kidney.
So when Mike Tyson bit Evander Holyfield's ear, right?
He was a victim. He obviously was a victim.
No. He got a penalty, and what did Evander do? Whip that ass. And what Justin didn't do? Not whip that ass. So at the end of the day, you agreed to get into the dirtiest game America has to offer. The dirtiest game America has to offer.
So you're saying
I agree with you,
you saying because he went into politics?
No, I agree that when you get into that game, you are accepting what comes with it. But that don't mean that you if someone accuses you of doing something that you didn't do and ruin you politically, that you're not a victim. You're still a victim. Now, you elected to get involved in the dirty game. I agree. You elected to get involved in that dirty game. But if you're accused of committing a crime and you ain't committed a crime, you're definitely a victim.
Now, I agree with what y'all saying, but at the end of the day, like Hot Sauce is absolutely right. Politics is a dirty game. We are trying to equate him getting in trouble in politics with and helping him justify doing what he did because he got caught up in politics.
No. Hold on.
Children widowed.
We got to stop because the words do mean something. No one's justified what he's done.
So then he's not
Yes,
a
you are.
victim.
You are justifying it.
No one's justified what he's done because nobody has said this is the right way to handle this situation. So not one person has justified what he's done.
Roger,
Well,
with all due respect, Roger,
the only thing,
with all due respect, to sit here and say if he's not a victim, the kid's not a victim, that is absolutely justified.
no, it's not. It's acknowledging that if his life don't count,
if you
nobody
go,
else's life count
if
either.
you go from earning $600,000 a year to earning almost zero, and it's on the strength of lies, you've been accused of crimes that you did not commit. Are you a victim?
No, you lost. You lost.
You're not a victim. If you're accused of crimes you did not commit,
can I explain why?
Okay.
In that game, everybody creates lies and deceit and treachery and backstabbing. Everybody does it. So if I am him, and then they caught me up on 2 holes from back in the day, and they lied on me, I lost because that is fair. Lying in politics is not illegal. Stabbing niggas in the back is not illegal. It is what you're supposed to do. And matter of fact,
it is not illegal to accuse people of crimes they did not commit.
I'll land my plane here. Matter of fact, how I got lieutenant governor because the nigga who ran against me, I did that shit to him.
All right, now my thing is, a false accusation is actually illegal. Now I know they're not pursued like that, but they are actually illegal.
Yeah,
so somebody did something illegal towards him. Now is he a victim now? Because the thing that happened to him was literally illegal. So now is he a victim?
So this is what I'm saying.
And they do something illegal. They do something illegal, and you lose over $500,000 in annual earnings as a result of that. Are you or are you not a victim?
He's a victim of legal.
Are you or are you not a victim?
He
Shark,
is a victim
I want you to tell Shark, are you or are you not?
I'm gonna answer it for you.
Go ahead.
He is a victim of politics. Yes, he is. But when it comes to him killing his wife and killing himself, he's not a victim in this. He's the person who committed suicide.
Nobody. Look, there is no assertion of what you're a victim of. It's just either 4 victims or 0 victims. There's no thing about you have to be a victim of this particular thing. It's either 4 or none.
Yeah.
Roger, I
actually think they're more than 4 victims. I actually think they're more than.
I got a question for everybody on this panel, right? We all in the drug game, right? We all in the drug game. You moving keys, I'm moving keys, whatever. All of it's illegal. I shoot Roger top guy and took over his block. Is his top guy a victim?
No.
There you go.
Okay, well,
you understand that, right? Everybody can understand that.
Practicing politics is not illegal. Practicing politics
I'm still trying to figure out. I'm trying to equate the analogy to what we're talking about. That's why I didn't respond, because I'm not even sure.
He's trying to tell you that politics is a dirty
analogy
game.
is
signed up for this stuff. This is what politics is.
Getting shot over corners is what happens. It's common practice in the game of selling drugs.
Selling drugs is an illegal activity. No. Politics is not an illegal activity.
Not let me land my plane. Not let me land my plane.
If you kill a drug dealer, and the police can prove that you killed that drug dealer, couldn't you still be arrested, tried, and convicted of murder?
Yeah, but that's not the
point. Even though that guy was a drug dealer?
We did not.
That's exactly the point.
Not the point.
That is exactly the point.
No, that is not the point. That is not the point.
Yes, it's a dirty business. It's a dirty business, but there are crimes and then there are non-crimes. There are torts and then there are non-torts. And when you accuse somebody of sex crimes and they lose potentially hundreds or millions of dollars of earnings going forward, that person is definitely a victim.
No, because he got in the game. You got to negate.
I think that the where everybody is confused at is how y'all just trying to put the political slander entwined with him killing himself and his wife, and how
Right.
his
Right.
kids can't be
No, I'm not. We're
victims
not
because
equating
this
that.
happened before. Like, that's
Yes,
crazy.
you are. Yes, you are.
There's 3
I'm
victims.
not.
His
I'm not
wife ain't do
equating.
nothing.
And
His wife,
if you listen to
his wife ain't do nothing. His
our
children ain't do
commentary,
nothing. My fault. We were gonna do this.
well,
My bad.
certainly the children are innocent because they don't have any power over anything. I don't think. Actually, I think they're more than 4 victims. I think everybody closely connected to Justin are victims. I think his brother, the dean of Howard Law School. Now you're the dean of Howard Law School, and now you got to associate directly with your brother committing a murder suicide. You know,
Yeah.
imagine having to deal with that for your
That's the
personal and
problem.
professional career, for example.
That's the problem.
Uru, we victims for having to have this damn conversation right now.
I'm a victim. Yeah, I'm a victim.
That's what I think.
Roger.
Yeah, I'm a victim of this guy.
That's what I think. That's what I think. You know, I mean, look, because part of this conversation is about Roger trying to rehabilitate the reputation of this dude, and that I'm not. I don't co-sign on that. That part I don't co-sign on.
Oh, yep. And see, Roger, man, Roger think he's slick. Be like, oh, I got something for him next. I got something for him. I'm gonna be like 4-0, and they got to choose. And nobody's choosing for him.
Yeah, you know, Roger did a thing when he got Uru and hot sauce agreeing with each other. That's some shit. He did magic.
I don't know what y'all is on. I ain't trying to rehabilitate no man.
You are.
I'm just simply looking at something for what it actually is. That's all I'm doing. I'm taking off the white supremacy glasses, and I'm just simply looking at something for what it is. And for
you did 2 damn streams on this shit in 1 week. You definitely trying to say this guy.
Yeah.
No,
you
I'm not.
Definitely trying to rehabilitate this guy's reputation.
No, his reputation over. He dead. He don't even count anymore. He dead. He gone. He ain't no friend of mine. He don't matter like that.
Roger, I want to ask you 2 questions.
Well, hold on, because there's people that are alive, and how we perceive things will affect us. But before you ask your question, I gotta let True Teller get in.
Oh no, just let me ask 2 quick questions. Simple, very simple. And then we're gonna move on. So number 1, are you an honest man?
Yeah.
So if we agreed with you last time, would this be a topic today?
Absolutely. Yeah, because this topic ain't got nothing to do with whether y'all agree with me or not. This topic has something to do with the value of a black man's life and how we even as black people look at black people.
Y'all have a good night.
Now let's do a panel. Let's do a quick panel poll right quick and see who on this panel agrees with what Roger just said. My vote is nay.
What? Nay. You don't agree with what I just said?
Yeah. You did this. You did this stream specifically because we disagreed with. And so you created this thing to try to create a way in which you would kind of compel us to come more over to your side on this issue with this guy by tying his victimhood to the people he killed in orphan victimhood.
That's true.
That's what you did.
Yep. Yeah.
That's true.
You did, Roger. You guilty.
That's true.
What I did was create a subject matter to see if black men are seen as human. And can we accept that black men aren't seen as human? And can we accept that they don't matter even amongst ourselves? Now, we either accept that or we don't. I don't know what the outcome going to be. I'm just going to see what people going to do with it.
Well, look, I will say this to Shark and to Hassel. I think you all kind of played in his hand by not conceding to the point in which, because this guy was a victim. He was a victim.
My
He
name
was.
is my
Now,
name
he
is
wasn't the
Michael
victim
Bublé
that his
ass.
wife was or his children will be, but he was definitely a victim.
No,
My
but I
name
did
is
say
Michael
that he's a
Bublé was
victim of
ass.
political slander in the political game. Yeah, he's a victim of that. But I'm thinking Roger's
Yeah.
coming from the angle of is he a you know what I mean with the whole suicide thing. No, I can't you committed
No,
suicide. You're
he's
not a
not
victim.
a murder victim. Yeah, he's not a murder or fatality victim. I agree.
I,
That was his
I,
own
di-
decision.
I didn't push what type of victim anybody had to be. It simply was a family of 4. So if it's a family of 4, when something happens to your family member, that affects a close-knit family. These are 4 people who still lived in a house with each other. Either there's 4 victims or there's no victims. That's how I look at it. You know, now
Nah.
because Black Woman made a point there. There's other people who are gonna have some level of victimhood because they still know the man, they're attached to the man, they had friends, other family members, and things like that. I'm just really focusing in on the 4 people that lived in that house. And my thing is, of the 4 people that lived in the house, were they victims? Because if Justin ain't a victim, I don't see how his wife a victim.
When
And I
you
don't see how
down,
his kids
when
a
you
victim.
down,
Because
when you
no,
down,
hold on. If Justin don't count, I don't see how his wife or his children count either.
when you
Justin
downgrade,
said
when you
Justin.
downgrade, hold on 1 second. When you downgrade the different types of victimhood, it's a little bit insensitive because even if you want to say, okay, he's a victim of a political hit, right? But she's a murder victim. They're orphans. So even if you want to say, okay, he's a victim, everybody's a victim. That even if you put them together, the severity of victimhood is drastically different. And even doing that is insensitive because that's just like saying LGBT fights are the same as Black people's struggles in America. That's highly insensitive.
And I'm gonna say that is absolutely crazy talk. I didn't downgrade anything. And if you look at the natural order of victimhood, when a person's a victim, the next victim does something even more severe. That's normal
No,
amongst
that is
people.
the same thing as
That is
saying that's the
normal
same thing
amongst
as
people who are
LGBT.
victims.
Well,
That is
Roger,
the
at
same
the
thing
end of
as
the day,
hold on.
Yeah.
That is
Guys,
the
I
same
got
thing.
to get truth teller in
Let's
there.
let truth teller. We're spiraling.
I was going to say this.
Let's
That's the
let
same thing
truth
as saying
teller.
LGBT struggles are the same as African American struggles
No, it's not.
over 400 years. You're
No,
doing
it's
that. You
not.
are.
Because I didn't ask you to put a value on anybody's victimhood. You're doing that on your own.
No, you're doing it.
Can I go now?
Here, man. Yeah, get in here.
So, just to exhibit
Please
this,
let
because we've
truth
actually
teller.
had this conversation before. This is the white supremacy that's been programmed
Very
into us, the men on the panel, right? Because although we know he was victimized, but because of his actions, nobody wants to call him a victim. Just like
right.
when something bad happens to Black men, you're just supposed to work your way through it. And if you say, hey, somebody did something to me, I'm a victim, you got a victim mentality. That's the first thing people say to us if we make a claim that we've been victimized by somebody. Women, government, people, it don't matter. We're not allowed to be victims, even though we are. We can't even claim it or state it. What's happening in this context is Roger is forcing some of y'all to show y'all colors. I mean, you have a bias against Black men, and it's being exhibited. So the logic that was just framed is, hey, the value of the victimized has to be measured against the Black man. Well, why? Why would you do that?
Mm.
We're not stating that his family victimized them. We already know who victimized him, but they victimized him, and he made these decisions based on himself being victimized. Bad decision, of course, but he didn't victimize himself until he took his own lights out, and yeah, he did victimize himself. But he was a victim in this whole scenario. So was his wife. So was his kids. Why does nobody want to say that? It seems really weird for us to be speaking out loud and not have the ability to just state the obvious. What's also weird is suddenly, he's supposed to just take it on the chin. It's political. So, Oh well, it's part of the game. It's not political for somebody to fraudulently, that's called illegal, to make fraudulent claims to you publicly. That's illegal. There's a crime that covers that. So that's not even the same thing as just saying, hey, it's just a political game. If somebody's making something up about you to damage your public image, people get sued for that all the time. That's a violation of law. So we need to reframe it and make sure we take a look at ourselves and see how we're moving with this.
I agree that we need to reframe it and take
Hold
a
on,
look at
before you say that, before you say it, I just want to say, and I want everybody who listening to understand how these niggas just tried to accuse me of not being able to be deep at all. It's got to be surface level with Roger. He ain't smart enough to have a better conversation. It's
Nah, because that's
Wait.
nah, because
Who you accusing? Who you accusing?
That was low, Roger. That was low.
Nah, because but hold on, Roger.
Come on now.
We're saying that you
that sounds like a Chicago trick. That was a Chicago trick, y'all.
Right. That's you were mad because nobody on the panel agreed with you. You wanted to spin the block. That's what we're saying. And number two, for the New York gentleman that just came on the panel talking about our hatred for black men. You see this? This is like bro, and nowhere in the world, if an LGBT person says our struggles, our setbacks are just as severe and long-standing as African Americans in America, nobody on this panel would stand for that. Nobody on that panel would stand for that. Now,
I don't know when you bring in the
I was about to say that. I was like, I don't even know what you're talking about.
I just start to get kind of confused by what we're saying.
Well, let him land the plane.
I don't know what he's talking about.
Well, let me finish because at the end of the day, because you said, well, if he's this is quote unquote, if he's a victim, then everybody else is a victim. If he's not a victim, then he cannot be a victim. So that's exactly what you're doing when you're making that statement. That is exact, and otherwise, then we're not being honest. If you're gonna say no,
that is being. But here, I'll rebut it. That's being very honest because if what's happening to him is not considered,
bro, you didn't say it, so how can you defend it? Roger said it.
I'll defend it because you said the person from New York. You opened
defend it.
Right, but you opened up. Opened up speaking of me, sir.
So anyway,
sorry guys, did he not open up speaking of me? The person from New York.
That's exactly what
or am I wrong?
That is exactly what we're comparing. We're saying that all victims.
Okay, let me rebut.
That, bro, I'm not done.
Oh,
and so and I'm saying that is insensitive, and something can be insensitive and still and not have compassion for black men or all that bullshit.
Yeah, that was.
Can I rebut now?
Yeah, that's bullshit.
No, it wasn't because. Well, here I'll go with. Can I rebut or you gonna keep cutting me off?
No, I'm gonna cut you off.
So Roger, you gonna fix this or not?
Yeah, because I'm trying to see. Because if you gonna make the statement, we can't rebut to the statement. Are you gonna let us rebut?
I was addressing you when you Roger Report said
you referenced me and then you referenced me again.
Bro, I just referred to you for 1 second.
Okay, but
and then you referenced me again.
Okay, look.
I can reference you.
Roger, okay, look. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Authorized Truth Teller to rebut.
Yeah. Truth Teller, go ahead, because I got a rebuttal too. Because I'm gonna say, regardless of how it goes down, you're still wrong, but it's cool. You're still gonna be wrong. But we got to let people speak. It is a panel. We gotta let people speak.
I was referring to you, but if he wants to rebut,
no, it's cool. You wrong either way. You wrong either way. Because
definitely right.
Because at the end of the day, you know, you're making something about being sensitive, and I'm gonna say, as a person who understands sensitivity. If one person, if I cannot be sensitive that one person is a victim, I can't be sensitive that anyone's a victim.
Appreciate you, Roger. That was my point. How can we say he's not a victim when he's been victimized, but they're victims because they've been victimized? That would make you hypocritical, and everything you say after that cannot be taken into context or serious.
Wait, can I?
Which is what Roger is exposing. Literally, and y'all not seeing it.
Actually, his family were victims before the shooting. Because when he was sabotaged, hold on now, I haven't been talking. All the economic impact, the social.
Yeah, I'm about to crash out. Go ahead. I'm trying not to crash out because this is a horseshit.
All of that $600,000 that he was earning a year was gone. His family is victimized by that. Not just him. All whatever debts, whatever schooling, whatever social standing they had prior to those accusations, all that took a major hit. Their quality of life, and maybe even potential, the future trajectory of the lives of those children took a major hit when that scandal broke. So they were actually victims even before the shooting. Now, obviously, they were, their victimhood has been greatly surmounted and compounded by the
His
murder
actions.
suicide. But they were victimized by his family were victimized by his political destruction. They were.
But Uru, I think we came to that conclusion like 10 minutes when I said, yeah, that he definitely was. You even asked me the question. I said, no, he definitely was.
Roger,
No
please.
one's hold
No,
on. I said no one's saying he wasn't a victim of political sabotage.
No,
Roger, please
Right?
respond. Please respond.
He went through that.
I said his family. I said his family was also victims
Yeah,
prior to that point.
well,
That's
he's
the
the
point
bread.
I was making. That
He's the head of the
him being
household
a
and the family.
victim, also
Roger,
him being
please
a
respond
victim,
to my rebuttal.
his sabotage also negatively impacted his family. That's the point I was making. Not
Yeah,
that
Roger,
I agree. You're right. He was a victim, but I'm saying they all of them were hurt by what happened to him, not just him.
I could
So,
definitely agree. I
Roger,
definitely agree.
after you talk, I would like to respond to your comment because you said it was wrong. So, please, I'm listening. Are you there?
Well, while y'all got silence, I just want to address what True Teller was saying about black men being insensitive and all that. It's not being insensitive. At what point do you hold people accountable as men? Like that suicide stuff, hey, people go through things, but at the end of the day, the man went through what he went through, right? That still doesn't equate the fact that he's going to off his wife and leave his kids the way they left. That's where I'm disagreeing with. That's where I don't have any sympathy for it at. Like AL just told us his story, and you want to know the illest part? AL is still here to tell us his story. This man punked out.
But right,
And
so
this man,
but because he
hold on,
punked out means he's not a victim.
hold on,
I'm
hold on.
I'm unclear.
And this man punked out, and this man is in better positions than all of us on this panel. And
But that's not the point.
we're still here thriving and striving and trying to do what we
What
got to
does that
do
have to do with
to
him being
move
a
on.
victim?
So when I said he's a victim of politics, yes, he is.
Mhm.
But he's not a victim of his
Okay.
own. He's not a victim of his own
Nobody
weakness.
argued that. Nobody
No,
argued that at all.
you
I
did
don't.
say we were insensitive and we don't like black men because we couldn't see
No,
that he
I said
was.
you don't like black men because nobody wanted to acknowledge that he was a victim.
No,
And
we
the
did it,
second
but
that we did,
no,
well, hold
we
on.
did. No, no, hold
The
on. We
second,
literally
wait,
did.
hold on,
No,
because you just
we
said
literally.
something.
No, we
Let me
literally.
ride on what you just
True
said,
teller.
and
We literally
let me
did.
just ride on what you said
No,
so you can
we
rebut.
literally did say he was a victim of politics and a victim of them sabotaging his life. We
He just
literally
said
said
that.
that. Maybe you might
Right,
have
but
clicked
you
on it.
literally said we have to hold him accountable for his other actions when
Yes,
we
killing
weren't talking
himself.
about. No, I
Killing
understand,
himself.
but we weren't talking about the actions at that time. We were
Yes,
we were just stating he's a victim, and if we can't acknowledge that he's a victim, then we can't acknowledge anybody's a victim. That's
No,
what Roger is saying.
and that's what we
But
were trying to
but
say.
hold on, let me finish. That's all we said. Now y'all took into account that we have to hold him accountable for his actions as a conflict against what we're saying that he's a victim, because nobody brought up his actions being correct or that they're being supported. All we said was, hey, if we can't acknowledge that he was a victim, how can you acknowledge that everybody else is a victim too?
So
But y'all went
again,
in, but you went into wait, hold on. But you went into holding him accountable. How does
you're
holding
wrong.
him accountable have anything to do with that? That's where the
So
white
first,
supremacy is.
first of all, you're wrong.
Okay.
Shark Sims at every time kept saying, yes, he's a victim. Even before you just replied right now, he just agreed with Black Uru again. again that yes, he's a victim. And you said, okay, you're not recognizing him as a victim when he just literally did it.
I didn't say that.
Whoa.
Are you drinking?
No, you did. Truth teller, you did say that.
Second, you did. And then second, when you talk about nobody was talking about holding him self-accountable. Yes, we were. Shark Sims.
I didn't say that either.
Oh my God.
Uru, am I crazy? I gotta ask Uru because these niggas acting like they don't hear me talking.
Hey, you know what? We're not gonna argue about what was said. We're gonna argue the points out because that's what's important.
So the point.
I repeated the points like 3 times in that last statement. I don't know what y'all talking about.
So 2 points where you're wrong. Number one, you said that he didn't see him as a victim. Shark Sims constantly he said he agreed to that. Number two, it was said that we were not talking about holding him accountable. You're false because Shark Sims was talking about holding himself accountable. I was talking about holding him accountable. So holding him accountable was a part of the conversation.
So quick question to the question to the show. Were there 4 victims or 0 victims? What was your answers?
I said 3. I said 3 victims.
Well, there's only 2 choices. So,
only 2 options.
So if you're right, so if you're not saying 4, that means you're saying 0.
I said 0.
Okay. So then how am I wrong now that we know your answers?
Because you said that he didn't say he was a victim, and he did. He did agree to
But if he's saying 0, he's literally saying he's not a victim, and so are you.
I said 0. He didn't say 0.
He said 3. He said 3, which excluded
3.
him.
He said
yes,
3.
Because
you kind of contradicted yourself.
Because
you did, because that means he's excluding
3
Justin.
equals 0. 3 equals
Thank
0.
You.
3
Y'all
equals
think
0.
I'm not listening?
There's only 2 choices. It's 0 or 4.
No, why he can make up his own choice. He's his own man. He's free. This is not slavery up in here. He's his own man.
Now you see what I'm So has my point been made now?
Roger, with all due respect,
has my point not been made?
You got 2 kids with no parents. You got one.
So you're saying he's not a victim? Is what you're saying, Shark? I hear you.
So how is that?
Y'all, hold on. We need one at a time so I can understand what's being said.
This is what I see on my screen. Justin and Sienna, Fairfax, 4 or 3 or 2 or 0. That's what I see on my screen.
Well, you got some amazing eyes. That's all I'm gonna say. You got some amazing eyes.
That's what I see on my screen. My answer is 2.
I think you just lost.
126 version of what we're looking at.
That's what I see on my screen. I don't know what's on your screen. I don't care what's on your screen. My screen says 4 or 3 or 2 or 0. I'm choosing 2.
So I'm glad you clarified. So now that both of y'all agree Justin is not a victim, then I don't understand what you guys are arguing about.
No, he agreed. I say he's not. He agreed that he is.
No, he said he's not a victim.
Bro,
his answer says it. Yeah, he did.
He agreed with Black Guru.
No, he's not a victim of. He killed himself.
So okay.
He committed the suicide. He killed his wife, and he left his 2 kids alone.
There you go.
He's a political. He's a victim of political.
How am I wrong?
But what
I'm trying to clarify.
So
I don't know what we arguing.
Are we arguing about him being targeted in politics?
Well, Shark, you wishy-washy though. Neither. Shark. We were just pointing out that he is a victim, and all Roger was trying to do is have you guys identify that you think he's a victim. Your answer clarified that you do not. For whatever judgment call you wanted to make.
So him being a victim.
You know it's odd.
Hold on. Him being a victim due to what happened to him in politics, that justifies him killing himself and killing his wife.
I don't even know why you asking that question.
It is to you if you bringing it up, because nobody else brought it up.
Then how? No, I brought it up. So I brought it up.
Are we
okay, well maybe it's hot sauce.
I brought it up 2 hours ago.
But are we talking about his political? Are we talking about his?
But what does that have to do with him being a victim?
No. Hold on. It's a simple thing. Is there either 2 victims? There's either 4 victims or 0 victims. Did I qualify what the victimhood had to be in? I made no qualification on that.
Well, that's where I'm confused at. Are we talking about him committing suicide and all of that? Or are we talking about what he went through politically?
I would not say anyone who commits suicide is a victim because they made their own choice. So they have a right to make that choice. They live in America. That's their choice to make, to do what they want to do with their body. If they want to put a bullet in their body, that's their choice. So I don't even understand him killing himself is even a question about whether he's a victim or not. If he's a victim, you would have to see something else. And if you can't see something else, there's something going on with you that you need to kind of work out.
So we're talking
Roger,
about.
let me ask you a question.
So hold on,
Roger,
Hasso, so I could understand. So are we talking about what happened to him politically and cutting it right there, or are we talking about the fact that he committed suicide? And because I'm confused like a mother sucker right now.
I am not going to say a person who made their own choice to take themselves out is a victim. That's a decision that they made about themselves.
So Roger,
that's not, you can't victimize yourself. Let me
ask you a question because I'm confused now. I'm confused now. So when you're saying Justin Sierra 4 victims or 0, what situation are you talking about?
I'm talking about a family that lives in the home. There's 4 people that live in that home. Something happened to the 4 people that lived in that home. Now, if Justin
something, what is that something?
If Justin, you can say multiple things, but hold on. The thing is, if Justin, the thing is, I'm not trying to make a person see anything. I'm just trying to see what people see. And I'm saying if Justin ain't a victim, which means his life has no actual value, then we can easily come to the conclusion that the people who are on Justin's level, their life have no value either.
No, because you're not being specific.
I'm specifically saying this one man that lived in this home is if his life is valuable, then I don't understand how you can miss him being a victim. And if he's not a victim, his cohorts are not victims either.
If you're not going to give me context to the question, how can the question be properly answered?
Brother, I'm giving you.
Hold on, please listen. Right now, you're asking, are there 4 victims or 0 victims? So now I'm asking you, in what context? I'm directly asking you, in what context are we going to say whether 4 or 0 victims?
You're
not giving it to me.
I'm giving you the answer right now. As being black people who live in America. That is the context.
Okay. So then I don't have an answer.
Guess what? Back when we were slaves, if you kill your own slave, the slave is not considered a victim.
But when you're not being
nobody killed
Roger's playing slick and loose. He playing slick and loose today.
No, I'm not. Yeah. I'm making everything very obvious. They're black people who live in America today.
I'm kind of in. I think I'm in the middle of everybody in this discussion because I see the game that Roger is playing here.
Yeah, he's playing games.
But I'm confused. Oh, yeah, but I'm confused as to why it is so important to you, Hot Sauce, and you, Shark, to exclude him from being a victim. I don't see the point of that.
I was very clear. I said this. I said that when you're grouping all types of victims into one, it's insensitive, and that's why I gave the LGBT to black people civil rights. Right? They're not the same.
Yeah, but they're not. Yeah, but that insensitive thing, that's kind of an airy fairy female kind of thing. Let's leave that sensitivity thing out of it, because at that point we're talking about feelings and tingling and all that kind of shit. Let's leave the sensitivity out of it.
That's
let's just focus on the logic of it.
Well, let me answer it.
Hold on. You're so Black Guru. Hold on, Black Guru. That if that is the case, airy fairy, then Roger's question is just as airy fairy, because you're going to sit here and tell me that this man getting a political hit in a dirty game is equivalent to 2 children walking in on their dead parents.
I don't think Roger ever asserted that, though. Yeah, I don't recall him ever asserting it.
4 or 0 asserts that. 4 or 0 asserts that.
Yes,
that's what you are inferring. No, that's what you are inferring from it.
Ray
but other people.
Ray Charles? Because
I think you see. I think you want so bad. This is my opinion. Of course, I can't prove this. I think you and Shark want so bad to condemn this man for what he did, and I understand the desire to want to condemn him. But I think you want to condemn him so badly that you find distastable the notion of the possibility of him being a victim. That's what I
I
believe,
Bing, bing, bing,
and
bing,
I
bing.
understand it. I
Let me
understand it.
he is a
I'm not as far
he
there with
hold
you
on,
all
hold on,
on that
hold on,
point.
hold on.
he is a
hold on, real quick,
deadly.
real quick.
Let me
I
say,
gotta take this moment.
let me say this one point.
He's a,
Shark Sims agrees with me. Great Black Reset agrees with me, and Brock is about to agree with me. You three are the odd man out.
Okay, look, and I'm gonna take time
No,
out to say this.
okay.
Nobody put a requirement on you can't see the man is doing something wrong. That requirement was never placed upon you. It's just simply saying 4 victims or 0 victims. It does not require you to change how you feel about that man. It don't. Now, if you make it have to have that requirement with you, that's a personal choice on your end that has nothing to do with what I offered on today's show.
Roger,
Okay.
you want to be right so bad that I asked you for context, and you literally said being black in America.
That is the context. That is literally the context.
no, it ain't, Roger, because
Bro,
man, niggas go through shit every day, Roger, and at the end of the day, he took the value off of his life by doing what
Hold
happened.
fast, because I got other guests that then came in, and I do agree with you that niggas go through stuff every day, but everybody don't respond the same way, even when they go through the same things. That's a reality. Now,
That
let me
means
get
there's a measurement. That
hold
means
on,
there's a
Let
measurement,
me,
and he fell short of the measurement. You done said
hold
that
on.
like 3 times, and it's been wrong every time.
I ain't been wrong yet.
No, you've been wrong.
Y'all just see what you want to see. Let me get these other 2 brothers in so they can say something, okay? Bronx is here, and we got Red Pill Super Cell. We're gonna get him in right after Bronx. So let's just chill on
Oh, you
whatever
go.
they say and leave it alone, and let's let Bronx say what he's gonna say, and let Red Pill Super Cell get in. Then we'll continue. Go ahead, Bronx.
You gonna cut me
All right,
off
man.
from Brock? I can't believe it.
I'm gonna try to keep it short. And Black Reset already talking shit, man. But I hate to have to agree with Black Reset today. But look, man, this is how I look at the whole situation. And I kind of see where you're coming from. You're trying to at least paint the humanity of Justin Fairfax, which I commend you for doing that. Right, the man is still human. None of us are perfect. However, I believe it's very dangerous to support really anyone who has dealt with his own problems in his life to that degree, to where he murders his wife and kills himself, and then essentially allows his children to walk in and see the aftermath of all of that. So I don't think that we should really go out of our way to paint, paint the humanity of a person like Justin Fairfax. And I kind of get the sentiment. Typically, when you see women do these type of things, when they get into these type of murder suicide situations, you'll hear the media portrayal that this was a uh, overwhelmed, stressed out woman who was suffering with depression and all of these other things and killed herself and the children. All right. I don't even think we should paint women like that as victims, right? Because typically that's how they're painted after they do something like that. And I think it's
Amen.
a very thin line. It's a very thin line when you paint someone like Justin Fairfax after what he did as a victim,
Yeah, this is
because
some white bullshit.
he could have dealt with whatever he was faced with in a different way that didn't have
Look,
to end with the murder of his wife and killing himself, allowing their children to find them in that position.
yeah,
Um, many men with a lot less resources, with a lot less prestige, with a lot less connections, with a weaker network, have been through even worse than what that man has been through, and they haven't done something that drastic and that tragic.
So,
well
They
said. Well
so,
found
said.
so,
ways to get back on their feet. They're found
so,
ways to get back on their feet after dealing with
so
all of that.
Yeah, that's
okay.
So
well said.
I just
That's
there's
well
no
said.
world in which I'll back that man.
Hold fast, y'all. Hold fast. So, quick question: Are you? Because I got to give it to Red Pill Supercell, and then we'll continue to engage. So, are there 0 victims or are there 4 victims?
I'm going to say there are 3 victims
You only
with
got the
this
option of
particular
0 and
situation.
4.
All right, man. All right, man.
No,
And
no, no.
let's do 4
You
then.
can say 3.
Let's do
Everything
4. All right,
less than 4 equals 0.
okay, I'm going to say this. I'm gonna
Caesar,
say there are
and
4
it's also
victims. There are 4 victims, but Justin Fairfax was the victim in a separate case. He was not the victim in this case.
Okay.
Exactly.
Real Pill Sleeper Cell, you got it.
Hey, what's up,
Roger.
Rod?
Hey, how you doing, brother?
I say 4 victims because when when those people did that political hit piece on him to get Me Too, they targeted him and his family became collateral damage. So that situation led to him spiraling down and doing that tragic situation. And honestly, I believe Justin Fairfax was victimized more than once from it. Unfortunately, I say 4 victims.
Hey, can I say something, Roger?
All right, hold on. One second.
Nobody spoke, so we good now.
Roger,
Hold on,
you
Roger.
lost 15 channels, right? Which means you done went to political hit after political hit, and you ain't do no shit like this.
Chop, you stupid.
So Roger, are you there?
Yes, I am here.
My stop is here, so I'm gonna go. But I'll be back at the round table. Y'all niggas better wear your bulletproof vest because I'm coming back shooting. I'm coming back shooting because y'all on some white boy shit right now. So I gotta stop the train. Just make sure y'all bring y'all vests at the round table.
But
Y'all
at
take
least we've been warned. At least we've been warned. It's all good. uh, well, and I'm gonna say if I do this show, trust me, I got a lot of ammo too, so I'm good. I'm ready. Okay, I'm gonna be ready. Now look, y'all. Yeah, I do believe if Justin is a victim, especially when you have his victimhood leading to creating more victims, because I'm not going to say the percentage of what it was, but I think it was a very large, his victimhood was a very large percentage of his wife's victimhood and his children's victimhood. But now if Justin is not a victim, I don't believe they was victims at all. I think black people need to get comfortable with the fact that black people have no value. If Justin is not a victim, we need to just be cool with the fact that black people have no value at all. So therefore, anything happening to any of us, there are no victims. And if that's what we want to go with and put into society, hey, it is what it is. Not my vote, but it is what it is. I'm gonna be ready, but it ain't my vote. Because I can't see how one black person can't be a victim when stuff happening to him, but another black person can be a victim. That's playing too much. Either we mean something or we don't. Now I think some of us we don't listen to some white people a little too much now. You know, it is what it is. That's what I'm gonna say about the situation. Because at the end of the day, whatever y'all tell me, that's between Justin and his wife. Okay? Once a man marries a woman, whatever he decides, I got to back off of it. I've been saying that since I've been on this channel. Since all the other channels I had, I've been saying that the whole time. I am not going to regulate what another man does with his wife. I can assist the man if I agree with the decision, but I ain't going to regulate no man about what he's doing with his wife. So now we got a tragic situation that happened. I ain't finna just take my words away. I already said I don't regulate between the man and his wife. So I'm supposed to now start regulating what happened between the man and his wife, and I've been saying this time and time again. No, I ain't finna do that. And if you can't have a sacred vow between you and your wife, well, if Justin can't have one, you can't have one. If you vote that somebody should interfere with them, you're voting that someone should interfere with your wife. That's the only way to be consistent. I don't want y'all niggas involved with me and my wife. And that's just real talk. I don't care how close we are.
Well,
I don't need y'all to me and my wife.
I'm not sure what you mean by that. Maybe you need to
Thank you,
get a
Guru.
wife so you can fully understand what that means. But I never assumed that because I had a wife, I'm entitled to do to her anything that I choose to do.
Exactly.
I ain't never believed that. I ain't never believed that. I ain't never been
Roger,
around no other men
you don't
I
have to
never been
regulate.
around any other men. I got an uncle been married over 60 years. I've never known that to be his disposition in dealing with his wife. I've never known that. I've known men that have been married 50, 60 years. Again, this whole religious thing where, okay, I'm man, therefore I'm God and sovereign over the woman, and whatever choice I made, so be it, unto God or whatever. I don't subscribe to that shit.
Okay, but now I'm gonna say this: what I stated didn't require that at all. What I stated didn't have any. It didn't say you have to be able to do anything you want. I said it ain't my business. That's what I
I
said.
think
It ain't my
Yeah.
business.
I think
You said you wouldn't
I
regulate what would happen in another man's household, essentially. But
Ain't
the
my
U.S.
business.
government, the law regulates that
but
you
that's
cannot murder your wife
yeah, but
if you
that's
don't.
not I think you
That ain't
guys
what I
hold
said.
on. Hold on, Roger, because y'all not seeing what I'm seeing. The emotional discipline on this panel right now is non-existent, which is a problem. It's a very serious problem. The question was, are there 4 victims or no victims? We had men on this panel obfuscating, saying there's only 3, which means 0. We had men saying there was 0 victims. We literally have men connecting whether or not this man was an actual victim to what his choices were after his victimization, and then saying we can't call him a victim because of the choices he made after his victimization, when the whole question was, is he a victim or not? That's bad, because young niggas are supposed to be the ones that's supposed to be pushing everybody in the direction of focusing on what's the discussion and being disciplined with the logic. And all I'm hearing is people about how you feel. We can't justify his actions. We can't condone it. We have to hold him accountable. The question that Roger asked had nothing to do with any of that, which means y'all are letting y'all emotions into all of this. And that's a very serious problem. If you guys are doing it, the so-called, logical black manosphere, because then if you guys can't be emotionally disciplined, then how the hell do you expect the people listening out in these streets to be disciplined? How do you have the right to criticize anybody after this?
And I'm gonna say
If
shout
if
out to
if
no.
I were a part of the estate of Justin and what's her name, Sierra, or his wife,
Cerina.
if I were a
Justin and
part of
Cerina
the estate,
Fairfax.
Serena, on behalf of his children, and I think this might work. As the estate on behalf of those children, I might consider again attempting to sue CBS and sue those 2 women. I don't think Justin himself could have won that case, but I think his estate on behalf of those children would have a chance of winning those cases.
You know what? That makes sense. But I will say, in that situation, someone would have to recognize Justin's victimhood for them to have a
Yeah,
chance of winning that.
right? He's a victim.
Well, of course,
Yeah.
obviously, yeah.
Now, shout out to No Placeholder. He says in chemistry there is something called a chain reaction and pre-calculus. There is the chain rule. A negative when A negative is greater than B. B, I don't remember nothing about calculus, y'all. B negative is greater than C, thus leading to A negative is greater than C. Not justifying, still, and he got another super chat that just came in. Where it go? Okay, there it is. No, that's the same thing. Okay, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I saw something. Okay, I guess that was it. And now he's saying he's not justifying. And this is the thing, y'all. I never asked anybody to justify anything.
At
This
all.
conversation does not require anyone to justify anybody's actions. It's just what you see as a person.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, if I can't see Justin as a victim, I can't see nobody as a victim, especially if he black.
Let me
Well,
And
ask
the
this,
logic
Roger.
this is
behind
what
that
I
is,
find to
I
be
don't.
odd because I'm very critical of what Justin did and from what I saw of his decision making, of course, not being in any way closely associated with him or anything connected to him at all. I'm just kind of going off of the things that have been reported about him, his particular resources, his relationships, his education, etc. So I am very, or have been very critical of his actions, or what appear to be his actions based on being reported. But being critical of his actions does not discount him as being a victim. And yes, politics is a dirty game. And when you get into it, you do have to expect some dirty game. But when people break the law to sabotage you, and it's very public while they're doing it, and you sustain great financial loss as a result to it, well, yeah, you're definitely a victim. Regardless of what you think about politics, and even regardless of what you think about how he has responded to what happened to him, he was definitely a victim.
Yeah, let me ask: Is anybody here? Is anyone here saying that he
Well,
was not a victim at some point?
yeah,
A lot.
pretty
Yeah,
much the hill they died
that's
Nobody,
on.
what the
nobody
argument
said
is.
that.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, all right. Maybe
Nobody
that's my
said he was not.
misunderstanding then, because
Nobody said that.
Well, the answer to the question displays what you really think, right? Either there's 4 victims or there's
No,
none.
No, it don't.
And when people say,
now you
and when
telling
people
not
say that, hold on.
true
When people
telling
say there's
you
only
telling
three,
us how
well,
you're telling us how
hold
you
on.
feel about our answer,
No,
Nathan.
I'm
You're telling
telling,
us how you
I'm
feel
telling you.
about our answer.
No, I'm not. Let me finish so you can understand before you tell me how I'm feeling.
You're being insensitive to black men right now.
I'm being
Exactly.
so the reason why because you guys aren't seeing the logic behind you're not seeing the logic behind the questions, right? So question one, yeah, they're all victims. Easy. Easy peasy. That should be everybody's answer, really. But for the people who either answered there were 0 victims, or the ones who gave an answer that didn't reflect Justin as a victim, that's where the problem is, right? Because
now I
and the
specifically,
reason why that's a significant problem is because if you think Justin's not a victim when you know for a fact he's been victimized, it means you don't have enough logic to judge if anybody else is a victim. Which is why if you believe he's not a victim, you have to choose 0. That's what the question is doing. It's showing you your own logic. Now you niggas is doing what women do. They want to go in between. They don't want to follow the logic. That's what you're being exposed for right now. Either it's because if he's not a victim, then nobody can be a victim is the point of the question. But you guys aren't getting that. You're just too busy trying to condemn him for what he did after the fact, not to state, yeah, he is a victim. And a couple of
hey,
you
can I?
actually said, yeah, he's a victim, but you didn't want to acknowledge it in your answer to the question.
Okay,
Yeah, well, let me. Truth teller, can I respond to that?
That's an
now,
excellent
Bron,
point.
hold on.
That's
I'm
an
gonna let Bron.
excellent point. That last point, Truth Teller made can't be overemphasized. That how you guys were essentially trying to play both sides of it when you did that.
And I'm gonna let Bronx say what he gotta say. Then I got some cash chaps to acknowledge, and then I gotta get no placeholder in. Okay, go ahead, Bronx.
But so it seems as though his victimhood is being wrapped up into 2 different scenarios. I agree that he was a victim with the accusations that were against him and what that did to his career. However, the murder suicide, he was not a victim in that situation. His wife was and his children were. So I want to make that
Correct.
clarification. I want to make that distinct clarification that yes, while he is a victim based off of how it all started, he is not the victim in the scenario in which it ended.
Can we go further with what
I,
you just said? Why is
no,
that? Why do you
no. After we got no placeholder coming, and I'm going after no placeholder. We tired of you.
cool.
We tired of
All
You
you.
tired of me? Okay,
right.
cool.
As a matter of fact, we gonna let you go. We gonna let you go after Tunnel Runner because Tunnel Runner just came in. So I'm gonna let Tunnel
Okay,
Runner get
cool,
in, and then you can go after Tunnel
cool,
Runner. Now, shout out
cool.
to my main man, Roastmaster. Appreciate you, my brother. He dropped 20 on the Cash App. Thank you very much, my brother. Thank you very much. Shout out to Afro Merchant who dropped in $20.57 for the Trail Bentley tax. Appreciate that big time. Appreciate that big time. And shout out to Red Pill Supercell. Uh, you know what? I got to go back and look at the message because he said something in the message. Let me go see what that was real quick.
Yeah. Hey, reset. Truth Teller was trying to play that
Yes,
New
sir.
York lawyer game on y'all ass, man.
Yeah, he truth telling. He truth telling, and I'm sick
No,
of
no,
it.
I
But
can't prove it.
I'm gonna
Whatever
get
you
off.
want me to do.
truth teller
It's a
is
horrible
exactly
habit.
truth
It's a
teller
horrible habit.
is truth teller is exactly right, and literally picked up the subject of the show and what I was doing in the show, and I even volunteered to be a victim today just for show purposes to get this going. And shout out to Red Pill Sleeper Cell, who says Roger's the victim on this panel today tax. And you know what? I think he on to something. I think he on
I
to something.
told you.
I'm the villain, but yet I'm still a victim some kind of way.
Oh, I see
That's
what
just right there.
I see what this is. I see what
I'm
this
glad
is.
you
If you pay
finally.
money to say Roger a victim, then he's a victim. But when I said he was a victim earlier, I was wrong. Okay, all right. I see what this is.
All right, let me let Red Pill Sleeper Cell get in here, and then Turner runner right after him, and then we'll let you get yours in, Gray Black Recess, since you've been quietly waiting so long. Okay, since it's been so quiet of you to wait so long. All right, go ahead, Red Pill Sleeper Cell.
No, I ain't had nothing to
Oh no,
say.
I'm
You
sorry.
said tunnel
No,
runner.
you know what? You got yours in. My bad. No placeholder didn't get his in. No placeholder. Go ahead.
What's going on, guys? What's going on, Roger?
How
Um,
you doing?
so yeah, I'm coming in. I'm going to say zero, and I wanted to provide some clarification of what I sent in the super chat. I was just saying in chemistry, there is something called chain reaction, where essentially once you start something, it basically leads to outcome, and it cannot be avoided. So, and then I also mentioned that in pre-calculus, they have something called the chain rule. If A leads to B and B leads to C, by definition, since B and B is intermediate between A and C, it means that essentially A leads to C. So it was just basically indicating that once you begin things and there's correlations associated with them, you can't necessarily remove the correlation and then basically isolate it. That was the point I was trying to make. So I'm not justifying it. I'm just letting you know that once if A leads to B and then B leads to C, then it's A to C. So by definition, if you take Fairfax at in the middle, what happened was that they attacked him and his family got destroyed. So anyhow, yeah.
Very well said.
All right, all right. Roger, I'm answering the question that all four of them are victims. Black men in America have been victims. We overcome the victimness. I'm a victim today because I had coconut pancakes today, but I didn't have them yesterday. So I'm
I was
a
waiting.
victim because I'm not getting the service I should get every day. But I got them today, so I'm happy. But thank you, and I'll end right there.
You know
Now,
something is up if you hear him talk and he don't mention them damn pancakes. Then I know either somebody got to him or he's an op now. If you don't mention the pancakes, I know there's a problem. That's
He's
the code word for you.
he's a
You got to
clone.
start off with
If you don't mention
pancakes.
those pancakes, he's a clone.
Yeah, he's a clone. It's not
now,
him. Don't believe him.
All right.
now, this,
Hold on, real quick. Let me do this because we got somebody in the audience. Thames 308. He said, "What were the false accusations? All of them were false. If you don't know what the accusation is, that means you haven't followed the story at all. All the accusations were false. But go ahead, Great Back Reset.
now, um, I'll give Truth Teller some credit. He was able to summarize what Roger was doing very, very well and very, very accurately. The problem is not what our judgment of what the sum total is, whether it's four or whether it's none. The problem is the question and the way that Roger asked it. Roger set this up in such a way that we could not disseminate from the victims and the problem or problems. He basically said you got to take all or none. And Truth Teller is like, he's like a car salesman. You gonna take this car and you gonna like this car even if you don't like this car. This is what he up here doing for Roger. No, see what we've been saying is, hey, we know the wife for sure is a victim. The children are sure is a victim. What we are having an issue with is with Fairfax is like, hey, are we talking about the murder suicide and the damage that was done there, or are we talking about what was done to him politically before we decide whether he's a victim or not? And how we're looking at it is when it comes to politically what happened to him, yeah, he's definitely a victim. He's definitely a victim. But when it comes to the decision of murder suicide, nah, he's not a victim, bro.
Now,
So,
I
quick
got to
question.
say,
That's what we're
hold
saying.
on, real quick. I got to say this. And I'm surprised. I am shocked, and I am appalled, and I do not endorse this at all. But Great Black Reset eloquently called people stupid on the panel because I asked the question to black men that I believe are capable of critical thinking, are capable of coming to their own conclusions, are capable of in taking information and coming out something very intelligent to say what they are. That's what I perceive. Matter of fact, I thought that was the type of show I've been running since the beginning. That's what I thought. That's what I thought. I thought intelligent people come up here to give intelligent things. Now, we may not agree on every single thing, but we can come to intelligent conclusions. And I simply asked a question that I believe everybody who joined the panel was capable of coming up with an intelligent conclusion or decision that they want to make. And I think what Great Black Reset said that we couldn't do that. So I'm offended for y'all because technically he didn't include me in that, but I'm offended for y'all. Okay, I'm offended for
Roger.
just fell ship.
Shame on
Just
you,
like
man. Shame on you.
Hey, Roger.
Yes, sir.
Just stick to reviewing movies. That's all. This is a little too heavy. This subject is a little too heavy.
Well, I think a kind of false dichotomy has been imputed in this discussion.
Yep.
You know, you can be a victim and respond badly to your victimhood, and as a result of how you responded to your victimhood, victimize other people.
Yes.
So I just think this whole false thing where he can't be a victim because of what he did, I think that's fallacious. I think victims very often victimize other people. Very often.
Yeah, and a lot of times it's in a much worse way than they were victimized themselves. That is human behavior at the end of the day. So I'm just trying to see, can we
Look,
see that man as human?
most adult abusers were abused as children. All the social science says that. Now, when they get in the court on a DV case as a grown man, they're the villain in that court. But historically, they were a victim, and their victimhood turned them into villains.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think this whole stubbornness about accepting Justin as being a victim, I find that to be odd. When we know in our own lives, former victims do villainry. We all know that.
I just wanna ask a question. If everybody,
Hold on. We got something. We already got a question from Black Wealth and Power.
okay.
But we'll get your question after
Yeah.
this is
Shout out to
answered.
Black Weapon Power. Yep.
Yeah. Shout out to you, Black Wealth and Power. I ain't seen you in a while, so shout out to you. Now he's asking this to you, Black Uru. He said, Mr. Uru. Now he putting respect on your name and everything. he said, do you think most black men inability to recognize Justin's victimhood have anything to do with how female identified most black men are? I didn't see that question coming.
Ooh.
He said keep trying to play both sides like a MF. And y'all know what that MF means. Black Wealth and Power, I'm gonna say shout out to you for that question.
Well,
I didn't see that coming, but shout out to you for the question. I think it's a good question. Go ahead, Black.
I mean, that is so. I mean, I obviously think that is a part of it. I think imputed within all of us is a certain degree. And to Roger's credit, I kind of think that's what he put together in this stream, that because there is a sort of knee-jerk rejection of sympathizing and empathizing with black men, just imputed in our culture and our upbringing, the law, the courts, the police, everything, because there's that initial black man villain thing that prevails, then yeah, there's gonna always be some degree of hesitant or some motivation to support the black male villain story. Now, that does not discount whether or not a particular black man in a particular instance is in fact a villain. But those are two separate things. And very often, you very often we err on the side of the black man being a villain, regardless of whether or not he's a villain, and regardless of whether or not he's a victim. But I agree, and I think the gynocratic world, in particular, white supremacist world, supports that. My affirmative response to your question.
And I'm gonna say shout out to him again for one more. That was a good question. And I'm gonna tell y'all honestly, I was looking at this from a white supremacist standpoint to see how good white supremacy is still working. Not
It's
saying it's
great.
working good, not saying it's working bad. I just said, let me see how good it's working. Let me see.
Well, I think what we have here. Go ahead, Uru. I don't want you to forget what you're gonna say. Go ahead.
Well, I was been watching this Invincible. I've been using this as an analogy. This drag figure, right? Now, Mark and them, they decided to go fight that dude. Right? It was basically a suicide mission. Now, look, and he did some terrible things to him as a result of it. Now, Justin decided to run for the governorship. And I think he had a degree of naivety, about what he was doing and about the kind of game he would have to play to maintain that position. Like when they did the blackface thing with the governor, exposed the blackface thing. At 39 years old, black guy, 39 years old, governor, you got to side with that white man if you're going to continue to play that game. You got to. You can't at 39 years old decide, oh, this is the easy way for me to get to that governorship. In Virginia, them white people, whoever that governor is connected to, probably go all the way back to the Confederacy, even before that. Probably was an old slave owner and all that kind of shit. That's where them people come from. So when you line step on those people and you do it young, you end up dealing with threat. And that's what happened. Now he elected to do that. He elected to do that. He chose to do that. Now they did some terrible things to him as a result of that. But he stepped up to it. He stepped up to threat. And the lesson there to be learned is, America's evil and America's racist and whatever. But the higher you fly, the closer you fly to the sun, the quicker the wax in your wings melt. And he flew too quickly to the sun, in my view. He flew too quickly to the sun.
Now I'm gonna say something real quick, and then I'm gonna let Truth Teller because Truth Teller said he had a question, so I hope you remember your question. Look, y'all.
Man, forget Truth Teller. I was finna say something. I'll let Guru go. But go ahead.
Well, he said that before you even said that. That was before you even said that, though. Real talk.
Once again, forget Truth Teller. He up here starting trouble today. Go ahead.
This is the thing. Look. I'm not requiring black men to be perfect at all. So I don't even want nobody to be embarrassed about what they're doing. I don't even want nobody looking at Roger trying to get people. I'm just trying to get us to a certain level of thinking so we can see all the different things around us at the end of the day. Because there's a lot of things going on with us. Justin got himself caught in the situation. He did not respond well to it. And tragedy struck. It just is what it is. Tragedy did struck. Now, I do see his victimhood leading a large percentage directly to his wife and his children's victimhood. I think it probably was at least 90% of it. Real talk, if not more. But at the end of the day, yeah, all that started with them ladies. It is what it is. And them ladies just gonna be able to live. They probably got paid. And I'm gonna say I do believe they got paid because two random people that don't know each other don't come at somebody with the same attack at the same time. Now I understand the thing is we need two women that don't know each other, but it's still a lot of congruency even with the accusation when you look at the timing. And then when I was listening to something Roland Martin saying, he was like, yeah, this dude was basically 48 hours away from being a governor. Man, I ain't buying into no coincidence like that. It just ain't happening. I ain't buying into it. It
Hey,
is what
Roger.
it is.
And also Gail King needs to get sued also.
Well, he was trying to get some of that done. You know, it just didn't come off the way he wanted it to. So he was trying to get some of that done.
About 15 years ago, a black, kind of very light skinned it though, but black representative Tennessee, Harold Ford Jr. decided he was going to take on Nancy Pelosi for the Speaker of the House slot. You know, most powerful slot in Congress. Black guy going to take on Nancy Pelosi for the Speaker of the House job. Everybody looking around like, oh, really? Next thing you know, out of nowhere, he accused of having sex with some white hoes. Out of nowhere. Now he's married, he's got a family, everything. Nobody ever heard anything about women, hoes, any of that. Soon as he decided to go to try to take Nancy Pelosi's speaker job, all the hoes come out. Of course, that tanks his any shot he has at the speaker's office. Eventually loses re-election to the House. He resigns, goes into private life, remarries because the first marriage falls apart because of the scandal. Remarries, white woman. Interestingly enough, have a couple of biracial children, go on the business, live a very productive life.
Yeah. And I'm gonna say
what Fairfax could have done.
Yeah. I'm gonna say shout out to Irvin Reed. Appreciate your super chat, my brother. He says, remember, the villain is the hero of his village per se. See Black Adam / Magneto or lightning powers. It's because we birth new thoughts / ideas. I'm just saying. And that's a very, very good point, because usually the villain is the hero of his own story. We may say it a certain way, but if you let him tell the story, he's probably going to describe it in a very heroic manner. And I'm going to say, yeah, you got to consider things. And Justin may not have considered as much as he needed to, or he might have believed too much in the system that we was in. I'm going to say he probably was mistaken there because he wasn't a perfect man. I'm not saying he was a perfect man. And again, nothing I'm pushing today says you even need to side with him. And I think it's just a miscalculation. When you slap a man, you must be ready to fight the man. The man might back off. Yeah, maybe he is a punk and he's gonna back off. But you don't slap no man that you ain't willing to fight. And that's just real talk. And Justin, he's slapping the American cultural system by going after that governorship of Virginia. You got to be ready to fight. It is what it is. You know, again, that doesn't mean anybody's required to justify how he responded when he became a victim. But if you can't see him as a victim, well, if they accuse you of a crime that you didn't commit, how can we see you as a victim? Because if you just a random person, because it's a random person on the news every night, I get it. Nobody plans to be on the 10 o'clock news. But every night somebody on there. And very frequently is one of us. So if you can't see him as a victim, when you on the news, how we gonna see you as one? Now,
And sometimes, you know, the retribution, although it's bad, sometimes depending on how you are yourself, is not as bad as you may make it out to be. That's why I describe Harold Ford, because when he pulled out of politics and no longer made himself an adversary of Harold of Nancy Pelosi and the threat for dominance in the House, they left him alone. He got, you know, corporate VP gigs and on this board of directors and that board. They left him alone because he was no longer a political threat to anybody. So I'm saying this stuff. I'm telling you all these things, you know, because if we're going to talk about this kind of subject, it shouldn't just be about some people killing some people. There should be some lessons learned from this kind of thing as well, and including and especially for Black men. How do you adapt and survive and respond to these kind of things and prepare yourself for these kind of things? When you decide you're going to step to the thread, you got to have a game plan. When he tear your mouth off your face.
And don't let nobody punk you out of quitting if you wasn't really ready for it. If you wasn't ready for the fight that you about to have, quitting is a smart move. Now, I ain't telling nobody to be a quitter. I'm just saying, if you see yourself in a position where it's a little too much for you, man, relax.
You got to regroup.
Yeah. And there's
Now,
a major difference between
hold
quitting
fast. I gotta get Truth Teller in, whatever his question was. Truth Teller, what was your question? And then we get to
I was just gonna ask, since mostly everybody agrees that he was a victim before the actions he took against his family, I was just gonna ask a real logical question. Was he still that same victim when he took those actions?
Yes.
Yeah, I believe if he's not a victim, he don't even take those actions.
Well, I think the problem is we're trying to connect his actions to his victimhood, is what I'm trying to point out.
Yeah. Well, I said earlier, yes, he was a victim, but he did not respond well to his victimhood. But that don't discount him as being a victim, even up to the point in which he committed that horrible crime.
Yeah. And that's
so
why
I was struggling acknowledging that he's a victim.
Well,
even after he took those actions.
If you hear my response, though, I commended Roger for pointing out his humanity. It was just that I think we got to be very meticulous about how we present his victimhood, right? I don't think we're being meticulous enough because it seems as though it seems as though the case was being made that he was a victim in the murder-suicide.
But he was. So what do we want to be meticulous about?
See, and that's where I don't agree with. I don't think he was a victim.
Exactly. That's the point I wanted you to make.
I can adequately answer that question. I was gonna answer that before you even asked it. The problem that we're having is a problem we were having before with Roger when we were talking about tanking your family. See, as a man, your responsibility as a husband is to your family, and under no circumstance is it advisable, intelligent to tank your family, to purposely destroy your family, whether it's economically, or whether it's physically or any other matter. You're supposed to protect them. This is not the result.
Whether we agree with what he did, it does not mean he was not a victim.
No.
With what he did, whether we agree with how he responded.
No, I get that. He asked a specific question. Why are we having trouble with it? And I'm explaining the trouble. He's asking the emotional part. I'm explaining the trouble. We're having trouble, like disassociating the abhorrent behavior from the victimhood itself. That's the truth of it. Yeah. That's the truth.
So, but why is that? Why cannot he be both things?
Because once he killed that woman, in people's mind, he's just a nigga. Because he was just a nigga really previously anyway. He just a
No,
nigga.
we ain't
Well, so
calling him.
Nah,
We
Roger,
ain't
you
let me
out
hear
of
calling
Black
line.
him.
Reset.
Roger,
The
now
reason why that's
Roger doing
true.
too much. Roger
now
doing
you
too
out of
much.
line,
Now
power.
doing too much.
Roger doing
Now
too
you
much.
out.
There's a
Hold on,
reason why
hold on.
that's true, though.
And y'all keep
Right.
letting
For
Roger do
people
that.
who
Y'all
wouldn't
keep
know, for
letting
people who hold
y'all
on, let
keep
me say this
doing
real quick. For people who wouldn't know, I did a show just a couple days ago that you can go see. I recommend you see it because it's the show I did. You know what I'm saying? And I got all into how he was a victim and all that type of stuff. A lot of stuff had been discussed, and there's some links in this one, and there's some links on that one, so y'all can get better understanding about what really was going on with the men. But I'm gonna say no. I really believe, even though you can be an enlightened person, we all do dumb stuff at some point in time. We're all gonna do dumb stuff to the day we die. And I think in this particular case, because a man's natural thought to protect a wife or children or a woman, we're having a simple reactionary response because the wife got killed. So since the wife got killed, he can't be a victim. He's just a nigga at the end of the day. That's what I really believe it is. I'm not saying anybody's wrong. I'm saying we
Roger
all
keep
make dumb
doing.
choices sometimes.
Roger, if this scenario was
Roger
put on
keep Roger keep
if this
doing too much.
yeah, if this scenario was put on a Puerto Rican, we would be looking at the Puerto Rican the same way. So it ain't that he just a nigga.
I
No,
wouldn't.
he did.
Yeah,
Well,
I
that's
wouldn't.
he did wrong. Be point blank. Now, it was like
Right.
we
But
said
you could.
this 2 hours ago. He was a
But
victim
Black.
politically. Yes, we said this 2 hours ago. I don't know how y'all keep trying to come back to. Y'all didn't see. We literally all got together and said, yes, he was a victim 2 hours ago. Why do y'all keep bringing up some shit, some
Because you
stuff that we
conflicted with your
already
answer.
said we agreed to with each
No.
other on?
Roger has
So if that's
presented Roger has presented a zero sum question, and you are the
Exactly.
salesman of his question. His question is zero sum.
it's
Yeah,
not zero
but
sum.
It's
You
all
it's
or
not.
nothing.
but it's only a
Let me
zero
respond
sum.
because
It's only a
it's not.
zero sum game to the extent that you're not willing to accept him being a victim.
He's a
No, no,
victim.
no.
And
We
I don't understand. Hold on. I don't understand the stubbornness of you all on that issue. Yeah, he's a victim.
Uru,
He's a
when did we
fucked
say
up
he
victim.
wasn't
He
a
made some
Uru?
terrible. He made
When
some
did we say he
terrible
was not a
mistakes
victim?
and terrible
that's
decisions.
Yeah,
that's
I'll
what
tell
we're
y'all
saying.
when y'all said
So
it. I'll tell you.
where's the zero sum game?
No,
Because
Where's the
no,
zero
Roger
sum
some
no.
game?
Roger evened it out
Wait.
to zero because if you don't say
Roger,
zero, Roger's making you say
Roger,
zero.
yeah, Roger made it a zero sum game, right? And Truth Teller is asking about the emotional part. We're not talking about what's right and wrong. We all agree he's a victim. Everybody here is now saying, yes,
And
he
we
is a
all agree
victim.
what he did was wrong as well. What we're asking is, why do you guys not see him as a victim? And I know you're gonna
We
say
Yeah.
you've
already said
acknowledged
we
that he's
see
a
him as a
victim.
Why
victim.
is
Wait,
his
hold on.
emotion? Why does
Why is he even
emotion
here?
even factor in? Look, nobody has been more critical of the behavior of this man than I've been.
Right.
No, none of y'all have been as critical of the behavior of this man as I've been. And I still
Agreed.
see him as a victim, right up to the point in which he killed that woman. So
And
And
when
to
did we
Margaret,
me,
say he
those are
wasn't a
not
victim? All
mutually
right.
exclusive things.
you're wiser than us,
You know,
Uru.
those are not
He
mutually
said you
exclusive
want
things.
accident.
You're wiser than us,
They're not.
Uru.
They're
That's
not.
what you're gonna do.
They're not mutually exclusive. Because, like I say, you can be a victim and make terrible. You can get shot, and instead of going to the hospital, go around the corner or whatever and try to get Pookie to fix the wound and end up getting some kind of staph infection and die.
Sepsis or something, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, you was a victim. You were a victim of the gunshot wound, that's for sure. But you made some dumbass decisions after that, and that's how
Correct.
I view this.
All I'm
I
saying
think
is,
that's the
have you
correct
guys
way of
changed your
viewing it.
answer? Have you guys changed your answer to the question?
We've been
This
changed
Is,
our answer to the question. Y'all keep
this
trying
so
to
you
make it
saying
seem like
so
niggas
you
don't have
saying there are
answers.
4 victims, not 3, not 0.
truth teller. We're saying you're right. What else do you want from us?
No, I need
What
to
else
hear
do
the
you
answer
want
to
from
the
us?
question. I don't believe you niggas. I need
There's
to hear
four
the answer to the
Truth
victims.
teller
question.
wants y'all to answer the question.
There's four
4
victims.
victims or
There's
0?
four victims. There's four
Thank you.
victims. Period. There pause. There's no
Next
commas.
person.
No nothing.
Next person.
This nigga.
Who had zero before? Who had zero
That
or
shot.
three before and now
Hey, truth
saying
teller,
4?
it's a good thing hot sauce ain't here. But because when
Nah,
we
he
go
would
in the back
slip.
chat, it's
We
gonna be
wouldn't
a
even be in
fucking
this.
bloodbath.
We wouldn't
Well,
even gotten this far.
we about to
We
see.
wouldn't even got this far
We
if he
gonna see
did.
hot sauce in a minute, so y'all be ready for him. He said he coming to the round
We
table,
wouldn't.
which we about to get
It,
All
to.
I'm
it's
all I'm
gonna be
saying
crazy.
is you the question forced you to expose your bias. And when y'all niggas exposed your bias, you couldn't explain it away. The only thing you kept referring to is his actions after the fact,
No,
right?
I was trying to explain it to you. You didn't want to hear the
Well,
No,
explanation
I
because
understand
you
it's
got a point to
emotional.
hold
make.
on, hold on, hold
I
on.
made, I made the point of
Hold on.
emotion.
To get it on record, Sharp, what's your answer to the question so we can say it's on record?
Man, I already told you my answer to the question. I told you the dude is he's a political victim.
No, I'm
But
just say it's 0 or 4, just so what True Teller's doing can be completed. That's all. Just say it's 0 victims or 4 victims.
it's 4 victims if y'all want to make hey, 4 victims, fellas.
Okay.
There you
Go ahead.
go.
Any,
There you
Okay,
go.
cool.
anybody else still with 0?
No, nah.
No,
I was trying to
I
end the
picked
show.
zero.
I'm trying.
This nigga
I picked
definitely
zero,
from
and
New
I'm
York.
still with zero.
That nigga
Okay,
definitely from
cool.
New
You stay
York.
with 0. I
Roger,
know why
Roger,
you staying with 0. I know
Roger,
why you staying with 0
Roger,
though,
Yeah,
but it's not what they
Roger.
staying with it for.
yeah.
But I know.
I was gonna try to close the show out and and do some last statements. But I want no placeholder to get 2 statements. What? No place? Did you come for the? Did you come for the round table? Or did you come to get something in?
No,
Y'all called the
no.
devil, so I came back.
I mean,
Listen,
I'm sorry, not you. I'm talking about no placeholder. I'm talking about no placeholder. No
no,
place.
I
I'm
love
here
you,
for later.
Saul.
Yeah, but I
Okay.
did pick zero though.
Okay. Well,
I love sauce. I love sauce.
okay.
I got
Let me do this, y'all. Let me do this because I'm gonna step away for a hot second myself. Handle this phone call real quick. So this is what I'm gonna do. We're gonna do closing statement. Everybody just make a closing statement in the order that you're in. Black Rule is first on this side. We're gonna work our way to I'm here,
Man,
niggas.
I listen. Listen. I got this. Just go away. I got it. We're gonna do closing
Don't be
statements.
no hater now. Don't be no hater. I'll be right back.
Take
But go
take
ahead.
your phone. Take your phone
You
call.
know,
We going
I
to
gotta
the.
step. I gotta step away for a few minutes, so I'm not gonna do a closing statement. I gotta do something for my
No
wife right now.
problem.
So y'all go
No
on and check
problem.
out,
No
and then I'll get
problem.
back with you in a
No
minute.
problem. All right, so we on the Great Black Reset live here at this point, and we're gonna go to Truth Teller for a closing statement.
I appreciate the honest answers from everybody, and it's something that we have to look at when we're talking about the logic and how we make our decisions. At some point in time, somebody gonna have to go to court to represent somebody, and you'll have to be able to think logically and within context of what that case is. Will you be able to do it? Most people can't, which is why a lot of people get locked up that shouldn't. But hey, it is what it is.
All righty, and after Truth Teller, we have Bronx. Bronx, what would you like to say?
I'm gonna keep it simple, man. I would just tell you if you are a victim in this system, which we all will become victims in this system at some point, don't go out and make more victims.
All right, and next we got no placeholder.
Yeah, yeah. So quickly, I said zero for a reason because yes, I agree. The fact that Justin got into this and he knew what it took. I think his wife also should have understood what it takes. So that's why I like when Hossoff presented the example by Hillary Clinton. You're playing the big game. You're going to play the big game. You got to play it basically in a way that makes sense. So that's why I said zero victims. Those children, I don't know what to tell you. You know what I'm saying? If your parents make bad decisions, sometimes you suffer as a result of that.
Gotcha. All right. I guess I'll give my closing statement. I think sometimes emotionally we don't know how to separate one thing from another and get right to the facts. And I guess that's what's being asked here. The fact of it is, yeah, he was a victim. He was a victim. But that doesn't mean that we don't find him questionable and abhorrent the what he did after the fact, regardless of who does and does not like it. And that does measure in on how we see your legacy after the fact. Unfortunately, he left a poor legacy. and he's going to be judged for it. And I don't think we're wrong for judging. Um, and last but not least, the great, the one, the only. I am here, niggas. There we go.
When you mention my name more than 2 times, I appear.
Wait, I ain't get my closing statement either.
Oh, go ahead, Sharp.
Go ahead, Sharp. I skipped you. My bad.
For some reason, we tend to do this. Just because a black man doesn't agree with a black man, don't mean you're not a black man. And I'll close my statement with that right there.
Beautifully said. I am here, niggas. Go ahead.
When you call the sacred name more than 3 times, I appear. I'm letting all you niggas know. All y'all who bent the knee when y'all was at 3, y'all bent the knee. Shame on y'all. Because it is better to show conviction and be wrong than to not have conviction and be right. Psalms 91. Now, listen.
Like he religious now.
My screen says 4, 3, 2, and 0. So there are 2 victims, and it's the children. And if y'all niggas can't see that, shame on y'all. Because at the end of the day, when a boxer gets into the ring and he gets his ass whipped, he is not a victim. He's just somebody who got his ass whipped. Justin played one of the dirtiest games that America has to offer. And he got his ass whipped. Right? That's it. He could have went home, come back another day to fight, but he didn't. But what he did do is create 3 victims. His wife and he orphaned 2 innocent children. And the fact that we cannot see that makes the fact that we can't see that just because he's a black man makes us look like zealots. It makes us look insensitive. It makes us look unreasonable. And it makes us look like zealots. Now I'm for black men's right just as much as any other nigga on here. But at the end of the day, I'm not a zealot. And I close it there. And if zealots is required to be here, then that is crazy.
Man,
well put.
Well put.
Interesting. I quickly. I want to say.
Hey. We closed out.
No response.
So it's,
all right.
What part of the closing statement?
It's over with. It's over with.
All right. I'll come back. I'll deal with this afterwards.
To the audience, we'd like to say, man, this has been a great show. We hope you enjoyed it. We hope you come back. And I would suggest you go back and watch the show that we did a couple days ago about Fairfax to tie it into what we've done here today. The panelists have done awesome, as they always have. We'll be here again Monday, 9 a.m. Chicago time, not your time, Chicago time. And I'm Great Black Reset. I'm right, and I'm out.
Nigga, you're never right.
I'm always right, nigga.
Just took out your whole thing. He said, I'm right.
You've been to me into truth teller of all people. Shame on you.
let me get Roger. Let me get Roger back so he can close out the show. Let me get Roger back.
We can't hear you if you're talking, Roger, or at least I can't. Can anybody else hear Roger?
No, I guess Reset is trying to wait.
Nah, I texted him so he can close the show out.
No, I guess Reset is
I don't hear anything.
Nah, I texted him so he can close the show.
Yeah, he said keep going because he's not back yet. So just keep going.
Okay.
Well, no placeholder. No, let's get no placeholder in here. No placeholder. What you got for us, bro?
Thank you, GBR. So yeah, so I was going to respond to that about the whole zealotry. That the difference between group dynamics, which is considered okay, and which on good group dynamic, which is also okay. The difference between that and white supremacy is zealotry. So I just want to say that. You saying the same thing that he mentioned that. What?
No. Okay, I want to say this because we're oversensitive. when it comes to black men, as sometimes we should be, but we can't be oversensitive to where the point is we're being unreasonable. And to sit here and say that we are Americans too, and remember we have that culture. And when a person takes his lives, they're not they're a person who could take their own life is not a victim. We don't see him that way. We don't respect him that way. And culture dynamics don't allow us to see him in that light. Now, again, when he took hits in politics, yes, but politics is the dirtiest game America has to offer. Then you're going to say, well, what happened to him was illegal. But again, illegal things happen in the most dirtiest game in America. And I'm pretty sure for him to get where he was, he had to also commit illegal things. You don't make it to lieutenant governor unscathed. You don't.
Does everybody know the origination story of the Joker from Batman?
Nigga, we talking
Everybody know?
Yeah, he
Everybody
was.
know how the Joker.
All right, can y'all hear me?
Yes,
Yeah,
we
we
can hear you
hear
now.
you.
Hello?
Yeah, we got close it out. Close it out before
Can
Truth
anyone
Tell
hear
say
me?
anything else.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, please.
Moving the table, man. Moving the golf post. You move the golf. You move the goalpost. You move the field, nigga. This nigga moved the stadium.
This nigga here, he won't talk about the Joker and Batman and Harley
Yeah,
Quinn and
all
going
irrelevant
on.
shit.
I mean, it seemed like y'all know fantasy better than reality. I'm just trying to help you out. That's all.
Damn.
The only
Tell him,
fantasy,
Truth Teller. Tell him.
the only fantasy. Man, you sound like a zealot, brother. You sound like a zealot.
We sat up here and got on Roger for not wanting to pay bills after his wife cheated on him and allowing his children to suffer. This man, Harry Carey himself and his wife, and we gonna give him a pass? Nah, bro.
Exactly.
Nah,
Okay.
that's the issue.
Here we go.
But there's
Here we
nobody
go.
giving him a pass, man. There's nobody giving
Hey,
him a
y'all.
pass.
My bad. I'm back. I'm sorry. I was having some connection issues where I couldn't do what I needed to do. I'm gonna say, I'm here. Niggas is talking absolute crazy. Nobody asked you to be a zealot. A zealot means that you can't accept any level of understanding but the one you choose to accept. Nobody asked you to do that. Today, it was just simply, do you see a victim or don't you when it comes to a particular person?
This is amazing.
No, it's amazing that y'all can't have
They reset. Sit down. Mind your business, nigga. Mind your business. Listen, Roger. You're diabolical, bro. You're sitting here talking about nobody asked anything. You literally asked us in our opening statement 4 or 0. You're really at you are asking.
Diabolical.
Yes.
Because if this was a case of 3 dogs and 1 human, I see 1 victim. I wouldn't see a dog as a victim. I wouldn't.
No, if that was the case,
I love dogs, but I wouldn't see him as a victim.
So why not title the
4
show
is what
was he a
Zealot's pick.
victim or not?
4 is what Zealot's pick.
I think you guys are just sensitive that enforce your logic in the open.
And you
That's
didn't
what
even
happened.
have the decency, bro, to be like 4, 3, or 0. You went extreme. You went extreme.
To me.
You went extreme, bro.
Well,
No
you know,
variety.
the show is still going.
Roger.
I didn't see it as extreme because
we call you back here to close the show out. We don't already close the show out. We don't get closing statements and all that. And you come in here talking crazy, messing
Well, the
up
show
my
got
show.
closed.
Hey man,
The show's still live.
Unfortunately, somebody called an audible because I couldn't do what I needed to do. So obviously, an audible got called. It is what it is. And
I gave us a beautiful exit.
Hold on.
Reset's exit was nice. It was nice.
Wait a second. My name
Reset, you did well.
My name was mentioned 3 times, and then God told me to come back.
No, I do think it's important, and the reason I did the show was just simply this, bro. Either the man's a human or he's not. And my thing is, we should not play with the humanity of any black person. I don't think that's a good thing to do. I don't think it's a smart look to do.
Listen to yourself.
No. Regardless of what he's done, you give him an appropriate consequence for what he's done. But now in this particular case, there is no holding him accountable. He's dead.
Roger, you're saying that we need to respect humanity for a man who literally didn't have no respect for his own humanity and the mother of his child humanity.
He killed himself. What more you want me to do for him? He killed himself. No. Listen, brother, he did exactly what he thought was the right thing to do, and which is why I said at the beginning of the show, but you probably didn't hear because you said you didn't hear it all. I said no man should make choices where they have to consider killing themselves. He obviously considered what he did as a wrong decision, and if you got to make a decision to kill yourself, you probably should avoid that decision.
I'm addressing the point when you said humanity. Right? We can see humanity. I cannot respect a person's humanity when they don't respect their own humanity. Because even if he didn't do anything else, he self-deleted. That says he did not even respect his own humanity. So to me, this is rich.
I think that was a problem. I think he saw himself receive a proper punishment for what he did. He killed his wife. You know what I'm saying? I think he saw that as a proper punishment. I should that too.
No.
That's humane.
Hey, just so y'all know, you watch the words we're using because the show's still running.
Yeah, Roger, you ain't. We still on.
No.
Oh, I knew that. I knew that part. That part I knew.
Yeah, we got reckless Roger. So you just hit the button, man. You just ruined everything.
Hey, let me say shout out to everybody for participating. It was a great show, even a great thought experiment. And I do believe if you cannot see victims, then other people will not see you as the victim. And do you really want to live in a world where there are no victims? That's a question that everybody really need to answer for themselves. But thank y'all. It's been a great week. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe. We do all kinds of interesting stuff all the time. So check in, see what we're going to do Monday, 9 a.m. Shout out to Great Black Reset, who obviously did a good enough job that somebody even complimented the job he did. Now, I'm going to go back and listen to the tape because I don't believe him. I don't believe Great Black Reset said like, I don't believe him. I'm going to have to listen to the tape. But we'll do that later. Y'all have a great weekend. Real talk. Long live the habitual line steppers. I'm Roger. I'm right. And I'm out.
And y'all